Alex Jones, and I'm here to tell you folks, the world has fallen. The fascist globalist overlords, they're implementing the Great Reset. You don't believe me? I've seen the tapes. Watch it, folks. Watch as these pot-bellied Zoomer goblins work with the Illuminati to pit us against each other. I promise I'd be a good boy. I'm a good boy. There's only one cure, folks, and that's liberty. There's no better channel to find freedom than Fabian Liberty. Anarchy is order. Government is civil war.
You're offensive. Police lives matter?
We're just trying to do school.
What?
But this is our space.
You're making the space uncomfortable. But you're white.
You're fucking a white male!
What is one way you combat racism? I don't root for white people on the sidewalk.
They want your wallets, they want your guns, they want the wieners off your sons. Democrats.
Oh, no. Oh, we should film it.
So let's say, for the sake of argument, that all of the water levels around the world rise by let's say 5 feet. You think that people aren't going to just sell their homes and move?
Just one small problem. Sell their houses to who, Ben? Fucking Aquaman! Vaccine!
Children, they're spreading COVID throughout the population at higher numbers. And people are not entitled to turn themselves into deadly biological weapons by spraying disease-laden aerosols wherever they choose, randomly killing innocent people. This is not freedom, this is homicide, and willful ignorance is no excuse.
What the fuck?
Highest margin of victory yet. It's really impressive, though I'm starting to think he might have had help from the Russians.
Look at me, I'm a gay frog. I'm so cool, I'm so neat. I'll never have children and I'm sterilized. But the media says I'm totally cool. I'm a gay frog, I'm a gay fish. It's so good, and I think my daddy had disease. Listen here, you little fucks. All right, there's a countdown for the stream starting on YouTube. And it'll be like 15 minutes and 38 seconds, 13 minutes and 32 seconds. Like, it counts down. And when it gets to 1 minute, it just says waiting on Fabian Liberty. All right? I'm not fucking late, you little fucks. All right? I start that shit like fucking Gandalf. All right? A wizard appears exactly when he intends to. Y'all over here give me shit for being late, and I'm not. Sometimes I'm late, but I wasn't late this fucking time, you assholes. Pride myself on being on time. I'm usually sitting here ready to go before it's even time to hit the stream. Because I'm ADHD, because I know once I hit that intro video, I'll be like, oh, fuck, I forgot to brush my teeth. Or like, oh, fuck, I forgot to do said thing. So I have to make sure that I'm early, because I'm going to forget something and not remember it until the intro video starts. What, you guys want me to start early? It's going good. You know, my son's starting to talk more. He's doing well in school. Had a blast with him today. Happy to log on, and as you can see from the title and everything, I don't know if he's back, but it looks like fucking CTV might be coming back. And boy, does the state of Twitch conservatism without CTV has been rough. Let's download Red Note. CTV was a big part of the twitchpol debate space. He was like the second hippy dippy champion. He did some controversial shit. He played with some guns on stream drunk and pissed some people off. He said some wild things, but critically thinking veteran. He was in the Navy. I don't remember what he did in the Navy. But he hosted a lot of debate shows. Like he was like kind of like the conservative behind a lot of the hippy dippy stuff, with like Danabo and a lot of these other people. And he tried to be a real one. He's the hippy dippy heel. Yeah, he was the heel. He was the bad boy of hippy dippy, like the one the lefties love to hate. And he tried to like he saw Twitch just burning, and was like trying to tell people like, you know, hey motherfuckers, like you're fucking up, you're losing ground, like you're not gatekeeping, you're letting too many grifters and like fake people in, like you're playing their games. Like he tried to warn a lot of people about it, and then he just finally dipped out. He reminds you too much of Waylon. That's fair. That's something that like Mark loves to do inside things. He does kind of though. But yeah, I had some spouts. I had some times I disagreed with him because I didn't like the character he played sometimes, but he understood the game, which is something I can't say for a lot of other people. Gibbs gets the game, for example. But yeah, then he like, you know, a bunch, like he was no longer useful to the left once they just kind of gave up on the right, and they all kind of fucking abandoned him. And then he had like some pretty severe computer issues when he was trying to like switch computers and like broke his new computer build and shit. And he just got pissed off at everybody and kind of dipped out. But he DM'd me and was like, hey man, like I'd love to talk. And I was like, yeah, do you want to talk on stream or off stream? He's like, oh yeah, on stream is fine. He's, you know, he's working, he's doing some other shit. So I'm happy to see him. Apparently he's streaming somewhere. I don't know where he's streaming, but he said his schedule's Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern. So, little short streams. Tell me should sing That's Life for Trump's inauguration. As he's streaming on Twitch. Okay. But yeah, I'm happy to see CTV back. If he's back, you know what I mean? We'll see. A lot of times people make like partial comebacks, but it can be hard when you come back and you're like streaming to not that many viewers and you're not making any money. It can be hard to be like motivated to like put in the work to like build the audience back up. Especially when like you'd have to remake connections and shit because people have moved on. So hopefully that's not the deal with CTV. Hopefully if he's back, he's back. Because like we need some CTV. No way. No way. I love that people. Oh man, I love that like the red pill. So I just saw something on Twitch. Pearly things. Pearl Davis, just like making fun of Nala, posting some videos like born again trad wife forgot her bra. I just love that like people gatekeep these OnlyFans hoes from trying to grift into the Christian community, man. It's like I don't really have a dog in the fight, but like I just love that the Christians are like, no whore, out. Like I love that there are Christians that have like found their fight and that they're back, man. Because it was getting wild watching all these fucking, you know, queer theory fucking, you know, church movement type shit. I'm so glad that like Christians would come back and be like, no. We see you. You're from Sodom and Gomorrah. You're from one of those places. Go fuck yourself. No, she was a porn star, okay? Same. I spent $200 on minis today. Hey, Rudy, I appreciate all of the money that you have given. I'm not going to be like, how dare you not give me 5 gifted memberships in the beginning. But speaking of which, Rudy, if you guys want to support the channel, $3.99. You get membership, you get some cool emotes and things like that. And if you do super chats, I will always answer super chats. I've never missed answering a super chat since I've been here, and I've had quite a few. I always answer super chats, but you know, like, share, and subscribe. We just got started. There's only 7 likes and 13 viewers currently, but we'll move up and down as we get going. But you know, give me the likes; they're free. Comment, I appreciate it. Follow me on Discord if you want the go lives. If you want to see me be a little bit more toxic and yell at people, follow me on X. And I appreciate all the support. How much for them thighs? What do you, I mean, you know, how much are you offering, you know? Do you need a sneak peek? I'm a fat boy, you know? I'm a fat boy, so being a fat boy, you get some serious calves, you know? Fat boys got the calves. I don't know about the thighs, but that's what you want. That's what you'll get. I'm looking at her page right now and she's exposing her body. Yeah, pretty much. She's offering $3.61 for 31-day subscription for me to be serious to like her. Yeah, dude. I mean, she's just one of the, that's a turkey leg. Dude, I'm 6'5". All right. Like, okay, hold on. I appreciate the donation. What the fuck is ARS? Because it's 10 cents in American money. Is that like old Argentinian currency? Like what is ARS? I believe this is a cent. No, it's 10 cents. And I appreciate the 10 cents. But it looks like 2 guys staring in surprise. I don't know what's going on with that. I appreciate any donations, all right? And I said I will Argentinian peso. Okay, that's what I thought. I thought it was I was like you guys are going on the on the USD soon, all right? Like fucking that's inflation's a motherfucker in Argentina, man. God damn. It's fucking 10 cents. I'm not mad. I will answer literally any super chat so long as it's not spamming. But that's wild that your currency is 1,000 times less value. Is not even not even 1%. It's 0.1% of a dollar. That's wild. I mean, things are looking up for Argentina. All right. Malay seems to be doing some wild shit. And although things are kind of still getting worse by a lot of metrics, they're getting worse at a much, much slower rate than they were before he took office. So the ship has to turn around for sure. But I'm confident Argentina will pull through. I'm not super confident, but confident nevertheless. You can't wait to make fun of Slope today. What is it with, like, you guys really don't like Slope? I'm not mad. I mean, it's cool. But yeah, you guys really don't like Slope. He triggers a lot of you, and I guess I get it. I just know him for what he is. He's a troll. You know? A glowy troll. I find it weird that an OnlyFans bitch tried talking me into a subscription scam. I mean, it's not like she was talking to you specifically. She was just talking to the simps. The very large amount of simps. Oh, my camera's off. Just a teeny tiny bit. Hold on 1 second. There we go. It's all good. I blocked her ass. I mean, blocking really doesn't do much on Twitter. I feel like blocking is even worse than it used to be, because like at least the way it used to be, you didn't see them, and now that you see them, I just go to comment sections and I just see socialists and commies that I can't reply to, saying dumb shit because they've blocked me because at some point in time I'm said something based or canceled them. Wasn't Elon getting well? So like I don't know what Elon's doing. Elon makes a lot of claims. It doesn't mean he follows through on them. I think you should be able to keep. I think you should keep the block, right? Like blocking is fine. I just think that if you block someone, you shouldn't be able to quote tweet them, and you shouldn't be able to comment under their posts. Like if you block someone, it should automatically delete or hide all of your quote tweets of that person and all of like the posts you have or like replies you have to them. Because it's like really fucking infuriating now that I can see blocks and like make a point and then someone's like, you're a fucking retard, I hate you. And then they're like, and then they like immediately block me, and then it's like under there, or they'll be like, oh yeah, but I bet you can't answer this, and then they'll block you, and I'm like, well I can, but like Twitter won't let me. So like now it looks like I like ran away from an argument from you because people can't tell that I'm blocked. Like, so I have to wait for someone else to like answer so that under their posts I can be like, yeah, he blocked me. Like that's infuriating. It's just like a really bad feature. So it has me sitting there being like, dog, like I would answer them, but you won't let me, Elon. Has James Lindsay blocked me? I don't think James Lindsay's blocked me, but I haven't had a post get that much like attention from him or whatever. Yeah, I'm not blocked right now. But like James Lindsay's really is what happens when you're really smart and like kind of dumb at the same time, right? Like it's like he's gone when you go too deep into your own thing and you don't check back in with reality. Like he was really good at breaking down the like, and connecting the dots of like Marxist philosophy and how it connects to the next thing, and like showcasing, like where phrases, where ideas in in modern woke philosophy, like where they come from, because they're not always so obvious and they don't always like link to them. And then like all of a sudden he sees what everyone sees, right? Which is that there is a reactionary right that is, that adopts many of the same axioms as do the left, that is going to be a part of this surge in populism. And he's like, oh, okay, well, I'll call that the woke right. All of that was fine until you combine his personality and overeagerness to call basically everything on the right the woke right, and also to like never explain any of his shit because he likes to be like cryptic to trigger people, and he likes to be like, oh, the woke right, and it's like, oh, you want me to explain it? If I explain it, then that just proves that you don't know and you're one of the sleep people. And it's like those two things combined have like destroyed his entire relationship with everybody on the right that used to like James Lindsay. It's like, is ironically, like a lot of people say that like bad faith is kind of like a term that a lot of people online use just to target someone that they can't argue against or when they can't deal with their arguments. But like James Lindsay is genuinely a personification of bad faith in the way that he engages with these arguments. And it's like, and he keeps getting his ass beat and then being like, I'm winning. And it's like, nah, dog. Like you have a core group of sycophants that like follow and retweet you but you've shrunk your audience down to like 10%. And you don't realize that Twitter's algorithm is based off of negative engagement. So you're getting a lot of likes and you're getting follows and you're getting views, but it's because people are clowning on you. Like you don't realize that there's 10% of the people that used to like you still like you and are supporting you, and they're fighting with like 20 to 30% of people that used to like you that are clowning on you, and then there's like 40 to 50% or 50 to 60% of people that have checked out and they're done with you. But like you're still getting the same views and shit because Twitter loves a good war. Like that's what their algorithm is based off of. So if you start being aggressively retarded, you'll get a lot of likes on Twitter. That's just how Twitter works. It's Hagel's fault. It is Hagel's fault. Egotistical, degenerate behavior. I don't know that. I mean, I guess it's degenerate, but like degenerate in the sense that it's dysfunctional. It's not like he's like slinging dick at gay pride events or something. I feel like the Western world is killing itself to death with the toxic feminine degeneracy that women are abusing through social media to use men as targets for broken hedonism. Now that I read that comment, I understand what you meant. I thought you were talking about James Lindsay. Yeah. I mean, if you want to know more about that, you want to understand more about that, then just go to yesterday's stream, which was 7 hours, and go to the beginning of time of the stream, which most of you probably missed, where I'm talking with Paula Wright, someone that publishes in the field of evolutionary psychology in terms of dealing with and understanding gender issues and feminism and patriarchy, and that was a really good conversation. There's a lot to be had there. Sounds like something the woke right would say. No, I don't see. Like that's the thing. Is like I don't disagree with him that there is like a woke right. I think woke right is probably the wrong term because it's like it gets the same reaction when you say that like Nazis or fascists or socialists. It's like you're right when you say that, but like clearly they're different by some metrics than like the socialists of their era and like the socialists of today. And it's like when you call the woke right, they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? We're not like the woke. And like, so I think like critical reactionary or something like that, where they adopt certain philosophies and axioms that the left adopts. They're collectivists, right? They believe in using socialism to protect their identity status and their demographic group. They're for like broad, sweeping change. They're like they utilize things like, only 6% of white people, that applied for engineering jobs were hired, and that's proof of like, discrimination against white people. It's like, okay, but you're using the exact same metrics that critical race theorists use to prove racism, which is, disparate outcomes. You're using disparate outcomes to prove racism, right? Like they have the same, they use a lot of the same tactics and have a lot of the same ideas as the left, right? And like, so they're woke right in that sense, but they're obviously not the same as the woke. And so it's like, he should have just come up with a new term, like critical reactionaries. You know what I mean? And like been like, no, this is critical reactionary thinking. Like you're reacting to what the left is doing and using the same tactics to do it, and you're adopting elements of critical theory just because you're saying two can play at this game. And like that's why it's going to end up bad for us. Like if he had said something like that and had been more pointed, I think a lot more people would be on his side. But woke right triggers people and, gets the Twitter numbers up because it triggers people. And so he's leaning into it. Not because he's a grifter. It's just he's fucking, it's like audience capture, egomaniacal bullshit. Bloodthirsty, spiteful, economically illiterate. I don't know. Seems pretty textbook socialist to me. LOL. Dude, I did a whole thing on it, Mark, on Twitter the other day, like proving that Hitler was a socialist. I'm just saying that like the feeling that gets invoked by most people is like, this is different. Where the fuck did everybody go? Did like an ad come on and like eject you all? I just lost like half my fucking audience. Like as stream starting. That never happens. That's weird. Was half of my audience hardcore James Lindsay fans? Like what happened? I just saw half the numbers fucking did. We went from 17 down to 9 almost instantly. Right? Were all of these people hardcore fucking James Lindsay fans? Like what's going on? Like we were chilling, we were doing our normal little growth, and then all of a sudden the stream got killed. Like the stream tanked out of nowhere. Like what's going on? Fucking something happened. That was like what I had no idea you guys were such huge fans of James Lindsay. Hashtag sorry, not sorry. Yeah, like I said, I like some, like his video clips, you know, like his little bullet videos and shit are really good. But like his ability to engage with people is like just horrible. If women are acting degenerate using OnlyFans and other means to use men as a weapon to kill their masculinity, then Marxism will curse its way into moral genocide if women are acting like this more. That's a sentence. I don't know. That is a sentence. I will give you that. I'm not sure what that means, but I promise that I can read that, those words, and I know what all those words mean individually. But that's all I got for you. What is the world? I'm curious what the world is going to look like, man, in like when Sunday comes along. Cause like, it looks like TikTok's gone on Sunday. Like TikTok is not long for this world. People are trying to buy TikTok. TikTok, you know, the Chinese kind of stated that they're not selling it. TikTok being gone in America is going to be amazing. I mean, I don't know. See, here's the thing about TikTok, right? I feel like TikTok has been a driving force for freedom of speech pressures on X and Facebook and Instagram. Right? Because like maybe there's a new competitor that comes out and that'll be cool, right? But like I can also imagine like look at Mark Zuckerberg and like, you know, he started smoking meat and then he started doing jujitsu, and then Trump got elected and all of a sudden he was like, I gotta fucking stop the censorship because this is gonna kill Instagram, right? But like what if like all the TikTok people just like start doing all their shit on Instagram and Instagram Reels? There's a part of me that like feels like censorship follows the desires of the customer base. And so like when you get all these Gen Z wokies that like invade like Instagram and shit, like what if Instagram stops being pressured as much to be free speech and like maintains their censorship stuff? I'm just saying there's a lot of possibilities. Like that's a huge change in the culture and online space with TikTok being banned. And like I don't like there's just a lot of possibilities and I don't know to predict what that will look like. Like, I mean, like, TikTok is just Chinese spyware and propaganda. But, like, you know, Facebook and Instagram is just American spyware and propaganda. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like, you know, like, it's so YouTube is just American spyware and propaganda. Like, you can get, just like on any social media platform, you can find, you know, little nuggets, little pockets of people that produce good content. But like TikTok is just straight up, you know, designed to fucking to spread degeneracy in America. So you're saying banning it is not a good thing? Yeah, no, I don't think banning TikTok is a good thing. I don't know. Like the anarchist in me says, like my initial reaction from the anarchist in me says the government, you know, trying to cripple social media platforms is like just a fucking bad idea that I don't want involved at all. And I don't want to give them that power and that precedent, right? Especially when you consider like, what if something comes from Romania? What if something comes from Czechoslovakia? Or, you know, like one of these countries that like doesn't face that much scrutiny from the EU, but like also can be like based or whatever. Like some free speech alternative, and then the government is like, well, we got rid of TikTok, so we already have the ability to get rid of it, right? Like what if like some Rumble kind of thing comes in that's free speech, and then the government just claims it's Polish propaganda, and so they shut it down, right? So like I don't want to give them that authority. At the same time, I don't want Chinese propaganda that's designed to destroy our fucking society, you know what I mean? Like doing it. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of already kind of doing that, right? You know what I mean? Pushing all kinds of craziness. I just don't want the government in charge of, in any way, shape, or form, of the concept of like misinformation or like what is or isn't propaganda. Because it's like there's no guardrails there of like we all recognize that like what China is doing with TikTok is just utilizing their algorithms to push degeneracy and propaganda, right? But like that's different than giving the government the authority to ban it, because now we've given the government a precedent to ban social media apps because the algorithm and what is pushed doesn't favor the state's interests, and so they call it propaganda. So like the future outcome of giving them the power to ban TikTok is that like we just made ourselves a little less free. We made ourselves in the immediacy a little bit less, you know, influenced by legit propaganda. But like what we've done is we've given the state the authority to get rid of anything it deems, any platform it deems to be like, you know, propaganda and misinformation. And like, well, maybe they use, right? Like, and so that means that the American companies, they can control with the FBI and the DNI and like all of these other 3-4 letter, you know, information intelligence based, you know, things. They can secretly strong arm these sites because they're Americans. And then anybody that tries to do a free speech alternative, well, they'll just do like they did to TikTok. Australia just banned social media for under 16s. This is dumb. It's just like, I mean, like, I don't disagree that people under 16 probably shouldn't be using social media, but it's just dumb. Like, what are you going to, there's only two ways that goes about. Either you force people to have everything tied to their, like, driver's license, and then you destroy anonymity on the internet and make it to where people's information is sold at an even higher level. Or B, and like make it easy for the government to track everybody and like get rid of their liberty and security. Or B, they don't do that, and then it's just like a completely ineffectual ban that doesn't matter. Like it has no teeth. So it's just like they made a law for no reason. You said you sent me a DM? Scott, I wanted to let you know I DM you on last DM I have from you is from December 23rd. And it looks like I thought we like ended up talking on show or something. Maybe I just missed the DM. I'll look into it. I'll probably DM you back if I remember on Saturday. Because that's when I do like, that's when I try and like schedule shit for the week coming up. Luckily, the bill said the government can't enforce anyone to use a government ID. Yeah, okay, so then it's like, then it doesn't matter. It's just like a fucking, it's like politicians patting themselves on the back saying we did something. Like, if you can't actually enforce it in any way, and that, like, age verification is just like, you promise you're over 16? I promise, click the button, right? Then, like, you know what I mean? Like, all it's going to do is get, like, some kids in trouble at school. Like, that's what's going to happen in this bill. Is like, if there's no real way to, like, really link it, what's going to happen is, like, some kids are going to get bullied in high school on like Facebook or some shit. It's going to get brought to the principal's attention, and then like some harmless kids like just making some comments are going to get swept up for breaking the law for having a Facebook under 16. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not going to fucking, like, it's just a dumb law. Like, that's just dumb. I'm sorry. It's like, I understand people trying to do stuff, but it's just like, it's dumb. Hey, what's up, Blight Blazer? I had a bunch of people in here, and then I started talking shit on James Lindsay, and literally half of them left. Like, I was like, I don't know what happened. A bunch of people must have been hardcore fans of James. I wasn't even shitting on him as much as most people do. I was just like, yeah, he's not good at communicating. He used the wrong terminology, and he's a little bit of a narcissistic dumbass that doesn't know how to use Twitter. And then like immediately I went from like 17 down to like 9. And I was like, what the fuck? So normal reaction to you? Dude, I guess, yeah. Fucking my stream numbers got killed. Now I'm gonna have to crawl upstream. One thing I've noticed is that like if I do well in like the first 20 minutes of a stream and I get like to like 25, I'll have great numbers all night. And if I don't, I'll have terrible numbers all night. And I realize that it's like YouTube directly is like, how many people do you get in the first 20 minutes? Oh, you didn't get that many people in the first 20 minutes? Your video is getting shown to no one, you fucking loser. Like, it's like, until people like, sometimes it'll get fixed if like a bunch of people donate money, or if like I get a bunch of likes in a short period of time, or like someone donates a bunch of memberships or something. Sometimes it'll break through in that regard. But for the most part, even then, like for the most part, like if you don't do well in the beginning, they're like, no one is being shown your stream, even the people you subscribe to, you fucking loser. Do better next time. Like I realize, like, because YouTube doesn't tell you anything about their algorithm, but I realize that like the first 20 minutes are really fucking important for a YouTube stream. It's almost making me think that like I need to just like get rid of intro videos and just immediately start talking, because like I feel like it slows down how many people come in because the intro video is playing. I don't know. I might try like a couple without an intro video. James Lindsay thinks he's the most important person on the planet. Yeah, I get that vibe from him. Without me, none of you would even know what Marxism is. And today, you still don't know what it is. Watch more of my videos and you'll have 1% of my knowledge. It's like, all right, bro. I mean, like, you make good videos. I'll give you that. But, like, you're fucking terrible in like, speeches and on Twitter. It's the social media company that gets punished, not the kids. I think it's up to 5% of the revenue can be taken if they don't comply. Oh, so it's just a fucking tax. So how the fuck are social media platforms like? So you're not allowed to use government ID, and then you're supposed to like you're supposed to just make sure there's no kids out of like the millions of kids in a country, and like you can't use anything that absolutely verifies that they're kids. That just sounds like a fucking new tax. A new tax that they instituted on social media companies that like they were like it's for the kids. like it's a fucking tax is what that is. Because the other companies are gonna be like, dude, we're not doing credit card and IP verification when like we're probably gonna get in trouble anyways. We'll just pay the 5% of our revenue, and we'll just increase the ads and make the experience more shitty or something. We'll find a way to make up the money. That's hilarious. It's dumb, but it's hilarious nevertheless. Now, obviously, I haven't looked into the bill, so, you know, take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. But, like, assuming what you're saying is true, like, that's just what that sounds. Who's CTV? Is that a new television brand or a new type of TV? Well, you'll see him in a couple minutes. CTV's a old head from twitchpol in the debate space, who left because the right wing was getting their asses kicked and nobody would listen to like how to play the game or how to stream and things like that. And he kind of got bitchy towards the end, but I totally understand because a bunch of people threw him under the bus. But also CTV is like Canadian television or some shit. It's like Canada TV. This song's too happy. I need a new song. This one's Sleeping with Monsters. Worldwide revenue, by the way. Worldwide revenue? That's so wild. Dude, if I was like IG, I would just be like, fuck you, I'm pulling out of Australia. Dude, I do like Pornhub did. Just like, nope, I'm out. Who watches anything Canadian other than The Boys? Is The Boys Canadian? I don't know. I've never really like watched it. Everyone's like, bros, it's so good. It's like kind of based secretly, but it's making fun of right wingers, but they don't realize how based it kind of is. And then they're just like, you gotta watch You got to watch that scene where she squirts breast milk in his face and took a bunch of drugs to have a bunch of booby milk, bro. And I was just like, okay, I'm good. I'm out. Like, I don't really watch TV at all in general these days. Yeah, I don't even really watch TV at this point. Did I watch that show Prime told me to watch? No, I said I would like check it out, at least an episode or two this weekend, because I have the kids this weekend, and they never go to sleep. Like, one of them is always awake at night. Like, either one of them ends up having an accident and peeing the bed, or like one of them just can't get any sleep or whatever. And so like I get like 2 or 3 hours of sleep every Friday and Saturday night that I have the kids. And so I just end up like sitting in the living room, like hoping they'll fall asleep and just like, you know, reading shit on my phone or like, you know, watching TV or something. I'm not giving my children whiskey. What is wrong with you? What? Glep from... someone is DMing me. And I'm trying to remember. It's iChat. People always be changing their fucking names on Discord and shit. Okay. It's ignoring chat. It's DMing me the weirdest shit. While I'm waiting on a DM from CTV. Fabian is getting ripped? What are you talking about? I'm definitely not giving fucking... What is wrong with you guys? Don't give anything like that to your children. You fucking monsters. No. Don't give your children fucking drugs and alcohol, people. Can't believe I have to say that. I hope you're all joking. I assume you're all joking, but I never know. Mix it with Coke and some Daniels. When you said Coke, and as I was reading it, I thought you were like, give them some whiskey and cocaine. It's like, just blow their minds. Okay, well, first of all, my children are toddlers. Second of all, fucking, like, you know, a little champagne at 14 is not a big deal. Have you seen It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia? So I was never really a fan of the show It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I haven't seen the reruns, but of like the original show, I had a girlfriend, I don't know, like two years ago or whatever. I guess it was 2 years ago. Anyways, my girlfriend, like when I was at her place and stuff, so I guess 3 years ago, she like would like her thing, man. She would like go to work and then like she would come home. She'd smoke a little bit of weed. She'd put on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And then, I don't know, like 90% of the time she would go get dressed and she would like put oil all on her skin and take a shower and then put on like a half shirt with no bra. And that was like, I need dick. And then 10% of the time she would like put on regular clothes and that was like, I don't need dick today. But like you might get it at like bedtime, but not now. And so like, I've seen every episode of It's Always Sunny, but like most of the time I was just kind of having sex and it was in the room on, and like, or it was like after sex I'd catch like the second half of an episode and then the next episode. So like I've seen It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, all of the episodes, like at least 2 or 3 times, but like I'll just see YouTube shorts of the show from back then and be like, I don't remember this at all. Like, I don't remember like any of the, I just remember like little moments of it because I was either distracted or just like not paying attention or just kind of there. Yeah, dude, like the half shirt with no bra is like the clear, like go time shirt. She knew that. She figured that out and then was like, yeah, I don't have to ask. I don't have to come on to him. I don't have to, like, it was an unspoken line of communication that just made it very easy for us to, like, know how she was feeling, you know? Bro, where's CTV at? It's 8:01. This one's not on me. I just DM'd him and was like, your Discord or mine. Is this even a thing? Okay, I don't know. Anytime she's around is go time? No, I mean, like, you know, I'm not like a fucking, like, this isn't a fantasy, right? Like I hate these like alpha dudes online that are like, if your woman, like, you know, your woman will have sex with you because because she respects you as a leader, and when you know, when you say it's go time, she just goes. It's like, shut up. Stop writing fucking porn fan fiction. All these fucking like alpha male online dudes. It's like, shut the fuck up. Sometimes people are legitimately tired and they don't want your fucking dick. Okay? Like, a healthy sex life is not like, I always get sex when I want it. My girlfriend's free use because that's what real men expect. It's like, shut the fuck up. Nah, Fabian's body count is -2. He's a newborn Christian. I mean, I'm not having a lot of sex these days. I'm like old. I got kids. I don't really care. I'm like old and broke, and I have kids. It's not like, there's not a lot in me that's like, I gotta go find some. And also, I just like refuse to use dating apps because they're toxic as fuck. And it just like leads to like trashy women in my DMs that I'm only like somewhat physically attracted to. And it's like, yeah, I'm good. Like, if a girl's nice or cute to me, I'll ask her out. That's pretty much it. Like, I asked a girl out today. And then like, because she was like super flirtatious with me at like the grocery store across the street. She did like the, like when she sees me, she does like the double hand wave and everything. And he's like, oh my God. And so I asked her out, and then she was like, oh, I have a boyfriend, and you're like tall and cute. And I was like, nope, red flag, I'm out. I was like, all right, cool. I was like, nope, I'm not. I don't know what this mixed signal shit that you're giving me, but like, I'm old. I don't play games. I'm not trying to compete with your boyfriend. I'm not trying to sleep with you while you cheat on your boyfriend. I'm not about any of that shit. I'm out, like, gone, deuces. I'll be nice to you at the grocery store, and if you dump that dude at some point, maybe we'll hang out. Yes, because you're like 6 foot plus. I don't feel like being 6'5" helps me that much, but like I know that it does, and that I just probably don't notice it. And so like, that's just something I have to come to terms with, right? That like, that I'm almost certainly treated better because I'm 6'5". But I don't really see it, but it's kind of like I almost kind of like, it's like the lefties when they're like, privilege is invisible to you type shit. Because I'm just like super extroverted, and then like people are usually receptive to it. And then I have to remind myself that like, oh, people are receptive to it because I'm tall, and so they're okay with it, or they don't want to fight me. But you have height and you're black. I'm not noticeably black in any way. You know what I mean? Like, none of my parents aren't black. My grandparents aren't well, actually, if you, my grandparents on my mother's side, you can tell you're not white. You're fucking dark. But like, they look more Native American than they look black. Now, my great grandmother, like, everyone in the family was like, she's Native American. And like, even growing up, I was like, that bitch is not Native American. Like, that, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, that bitch has, Native Americans have straight hair, okay? They don't have afros. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, my great grandma, like, when she was alive, people were like, yeah, she's Native American. We're part Native American. And I was just like, and then I like, you know, we got 23andMe and shit. I learned about my heritage and stuff, and I'm like, oh, okay. That's that shit you say because you don't want to admit you're black. Got it. because one's a lot more acceptable than the other. Do I gotta go on Twitter? Do I gotta find him on Twitter? Hold on. I DM'd CTV on Twitter and over Discord. I'm just waiting for him to hit me back up. What have I done? I can no longer watch knowing this info. Shortest comeback ever. Yeah. You're short and black, so you don't have the advantage. I'm sorry. You donate some melanin, but you gotta keep the half you have. Yeah, I mean, like, just, if you get a white girl, you know what I mean? Like, maybe that's what's crazy is that, like, if you have kids with a white girl, right? You're gonna have children that are like completely white passing, and then you're gonna have children that are just straight up black, and it's kind of funny and hilarious, like, because like when you're like 3/4 white, 1/4 black, you're either just a light skinned black person or you're just a white person with thick hair. Like, there's no in between. Like, nobody looks 75% white. Like, it's really fucking weird the way that works. It's like, you can tell mixed people look mixed, right? But when they're 3/4 white and like 1/4 black, like, they just come out looking like a light skinned, mixed person, or they come out looking just straight up white, and it's fucking funny. What about half white and half Latina? I mean, depends on what type of Latino you're talking about, because a lot of Latinos are like already white, or they're like, some mixture of white. I don't know who the fuck FaZe Jebs is, so I certainly don't know who his dad is. Apparently my stepdad's ex-wife was black, and yet my stepbros are as white as he is. Yeah, dude, it's just like, it just happens like that. And you'd be like, what the fuck is happening, dude? First of all, when have I called myself a gamer? Like, I play some games. I don't consider myself a gamer. Bro, CTV, where are you? What is happening? Did he get confused? I said, yeah. He said, sup, buddy. Still good for tonight. Yes, sir. 8 Eastern. Yeah, that sounds good to me. Awesome. See you tonight. Sounds good. Home from work now. Fucking, aren't conservatives supposed to be on time? What's going on? Gamer with a hard R. Every time I hear hard R now, I think of Linus Tech Tips and that like podcast being like, yeah, when I was you know what I mean? I used to have some problems back when I was a kid, and I dropped a few hard R's, all the time. And, I used to use a hard R all the time. And like his co-host being like, oh no, our career's over. Like, everything's done. Like, you could see him being like, we're never making it out of this. Like, I can't believe you said that. And then like 2 minutes later, like him being like, oh no, I meant like, like the R word, not the N word. And then everyone being like, oh, like this. It's like, if you could find that video, if someone finds that video, and like puts it in Discord or something, let me know, because that shit was fucking hilarious. But I just think of that, like, I think of that every time now when someone talks about the hard R. It's just Linus Tech Tips and like him almost destroying his entire career until like he saved it to be like, well, that's not what I meant. He was just on Jimmy Fallon. Oh yeah, because I really love watching Jimmy Fallon. Let me tell you, boys, fucking, I'm just in love with watching, late night talk show hosts that have 100 writers on their team. Yeah, that's my shiz right there, dude. Someone sent me a video. Oh, this is 11 minutes. You found the clip? Okay, hold on. It's in media recommendations. All right, there we go. All right.
I mean,
there we go. I can do this while I wait for fucking CTV to figure out what the fuck he's doing. All right. Because this is what I think of every time somebody talks about like the hard R, and like you gotta watch this dude's face when it happens, because it's so good.
I mean, it's been kind of eye opening. I've just sort of randomly here and there picked up episodes of old shows that I hadn't watched in a long time from like the early 2000s, and just the casual the casual sort of gay humor, casual use of the hard R.
Oh, really?
It's jarring. Yeah, it's jarring now. And for
casual use of hard R.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Like okay, it was an episode of American Dad. And it was just
Really?
like, yeah, it wasn't for shock value. It was just like used.
Whoa.
Right? Well, I mean, here's the thing, right? That was in 2003 or something, like 2002.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna deny that I dropped my fair share of hard R's back then, because we didn't even the term hard R didn't even
His face was like, what?
exist. We didn't think about it.
He's having an existential crisis over there, man. Like he's just like, I'm not gonna say fucking shit.
Right? And it's funny because to me, that doesn't feel like that long ago. But to my kids...
Are you talking like N-word hard R?
What? No.
Okay. I'm pretty sure that's how people use that term.
No.
I think
that's
so.
That's the N-word. What are you guys talking about? Am I mistaken?
I think so.
No, the one with the like for like mental disability.
I'm pretty sure people use hard R in a very different way than you just used it.
Oh. Okay, either
hard
way.
R means ending
I understand.
the N-word
I
with
understand.
a hard R.
I understand what you mean. No, I'm not talking about that. Okay, cool. So I'm glad that
be like, ooh, okay, all right.
I'm freaking Neo over here, dude. We're dodging bullets. That was bad.
Okay, yes.
All right.
Thank you for that.
Like, dude, he was so stressed. I fucking that every time somebody talks about hard R, like that just pops in my head, and I'm just like, oh man, that's fucking. Let's go.
Right. I forgot about the part where I said, yeah, I just like used it. Yeah, no, actually.
That's what I was like. I was pretty surprised with American Dad, and then you were like, "Yeah, me too." I was like, "Whoa!" Okay.
Yeah, no, you've known me a long time.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah,
and yeah,
never been a problem.
No.
Yeah.
Anywho,
we can breathe. Everything's okay.
Cool. So I hope
watching two white Canadians just be like, "Oh my god, everything was almost over." Oh. It's just like this pops in my head constantly, and it's hilarious every time I watch it.
Hope everyone likes not having a job anymore on Monday, because apparently I'm a giant racist.
We didn't lose our money in the bank crash. The bank run.
In the audience run.
All right, we're good. Whew. Okay.
Oh fuck, dude. The worries just got bigger. Literally a man in a minefield moment. Yeah, for sure. I don't remember whatever did happen to Linus Tech Tips. Like, didn't like he like leave for like some reason? I don't remember if there was like a controversy that occurred or anything, or if it was just like he was just ready to like manage his companies and not. Oh, there we go. Looks like CTV had some wife aggro. Fellow libs. I am the real lib. I am the real lib, boys. I sent him a link to my Discord. We'll see what happens. There we go. Testing.
What is going on, man?
Nothing much. Just waiting on your punk ass with your wife aggro.
Yeah, that's what happens, man. Gotta handle that business.
Yeah.
So how have you been, man?
Oh shit. I think I started first. How have you been?
Well, I'm tired today, for damn sure. I doing a lot of working in landscaping now. So
Yeah, you had mentioned something about that. Did you like start your own business, or you just like what have you been doing with that?
no, it's just becoming more like the whole perspective, like it's been changing for a minute, and now it's you know what? I gotta change the fucking, damn it. Bear with me, man.
Yeah, you trying to get your camera on?
Yeah, I'm trying to get everything going, dude. It's
Why do you sound so high right now?
well, I did hit the bong about 30, 45 minutes ago.
Okay, well
But
the
I'm
answer would
just
be because I am.
well, not only that, but trying to make it and I still get excited, whenever shit's going on stream, but I'm trying to make it a point to be more relaxed on a regular basis. And I've been pretty successful.
Right.
And I'm trying to find the balance with that and stream. So it's like what I really need is like 90 to 95% just chill. I'm going over the news, finding out like shit that I'm normally doing in my day to day. And then, once in a while, when I go into a debate panel, right, then it's like full blown, I'm like the whole, so it's, yeah.
Yeah. I know what you mean. I have to balance the rage with the nerdy philosophy energy. That's kind of my jam. Your camera didn't cut on. Weird.
Well, no, it's because I got too many fucking settings. Remember that computer that I built?
Did you ever get it fixed?
Oh yeah.
There you
It's
go.
fucking stupid now. Wait, shit, I gotta turn. Why is that one on?
It's like OBS using the camera, and then sometimes you have to switch to something else so that Discord can use the camera.
Breckamon, yo, what's going on? Welcome to the Wolf's Den. Yeah, fuck me, hold on. It should. Try it one more time. You know what? We're turning all the cameras off on OBS. You know what? There you go. Chat, we're going dark. Which one's gonna come on? Dude, look at this shit.
Dude, you've been gone for so long, you don't know how to work a fucking camera.
Dude. Okay, so first off, the fucking.
Hold on, I'm
You gotta be. Oh my god, really?
I'm finding you on Twitch now so that I can watch this shit show live. I want to watch this shit show on my end. Hold on, it's just a black screen.
And look, and Trekkermon just subscribed with the Prime. You appreciate that, brother. Now you got your balls. Let's go. Fabian sounds better here than on his own stream. Oh my goodness. Oh
what
my
are you talking
goodness.
about? How do I sound better over there? What? That doesn't make sense. There's no way that the Discord audio coming through on someone else's stream sounds better than like my direct line to you guys.
It's entirely possible, bro.
There's no way.
Okay. It's entirely possible. I mean, you remember, right? I built the fucking system, right? You remember what the system is, right?
I mean, not really.
Okay. So it's
I remember it was an Intel chip, and like that's all I
yeah,
remember.
okay,
It was
so
an
it's
Intel setup.
there's two PCs inside the one case. Okay? The ATX system is air cooled and the ITX system is water cooled. Okay? The ITX system has the 13700K and the ATX system has the 12700K. The ATX system also has the RTX 3070 on it. They're both being supplied power from a 1200 watt fucking Fantex Revolt X power supply.
Hey, look, you got a camera on your stream at least.
Yeah, it's slowly but surely. Now, the problem is that I've got two of the same camera, and they're both labeled the same fucking thing, right?
Dude.
And
okay, well, figure it out, brother.
Hold on, there's that one. And that's the thing is this one shouldn't even be on, but it is. See, this is what I'm trying to show you. I'm trying to show you this one, but I can't. I turned it off, but it's still fucking. So now I'm just gonna remove it.
I feel the need to like.
Does it go off? No, it doesn't go off. Why is it not going off right now? OBS still fucking has a hold of it. Why? Fucking why? I don't know why. But it won't fucking turn off so that I can turn it on in fucking Discord. Because you see, I'm not showing a fucking camera in Discord. So what the fuck is going on?
If your camera is being utilized by OBS at all in any of those programs, then Discord won't be able to use it. So you have to like change whatever camera you have on.
But if I
on
don't
your
have
OBS
it,
to use a different camera.
If that
or you
camera,
have to use a virtual cam from OBS, but that's a lot more setup.
Okay, so if I don't have the camera on the scene, it shouldn't be being used, right?
No, so you have to you have to go back to the scene and then change it or get rid of it. So for example, I have like my camera, and then I have it like through an Elgato, right? So like I have Elgato, and then I have like another program that I don't use, and I just switch the camera to that program right before I go into Discord so that I can use that. Because even if it's on a different scene, it's still being utilized by OBS. But if you have two cameras, like,
that's what I'm saying. Like
you ought to be able to switch it to one and then use Discord to use the other. But I don't know. But if you have that other camera on any other scene at all, it won't work.
You know what?
Someone in my chat said, "You're not a legit streamer without tech difficulties." Yo, I've been pretty good, knock on wood, about not having tech difficulties these last couple months. Why is he standing? I mean, fucking people get standing desks all the time, especially if you're only streaming for like 2 hours.
Yeah, that's kind of the idea. Like 2 to 3 hours, and I'm out going to sleep.
Yeah, like I did like a 7-hour stream like Monday and Wednesday, so it's like. Yeah, I would not do a standing 7-hour. What do you mean by mic barely works? Okay, you're not wrong. For whatever reason, Windows keeps trying to take control of my fucking mic volume and like turns it down occasionally. So I haven't figured out what's going on with that.
I really am. I'm at a loss right now because the camera shouldn't be being utilized. You know what? Let's try to attack this a different way. If we're gonna continue to have issues, so
hey, there we go. All right.
And then you know what? Then let's turn the fucking filter off because it looks like shit right now. And where's that? Where's fucking that?
you have like the blur green screen filter.
Yeah, where are those at again?
That'd be like in your video settings on like the app itself.
No,
actually, hold on.
It's on Discord.
Yeah, no, I mean like it's on Discord. I think it's in like if you go to like the main Discord and you go to set user settings, and then you go
Oh,
to
there
like
it is. Video background.
yeah.
There it is. Boom.
There we
Okay.
go. We finally made it,
Fucking
boys.
Jesus, bro. Only like I
Shows
showed
up
15
late,
minutes
doesn't have
fucking
a
late.
fucking camera working. Like, god damn,
Fucking
man.
11 minutes just to get this thing fucking sorted. Okay, so
Fucking conservatives over here. Fucking, you got like the
dude,
conservatives are supposed to be on fucking time. They're supposed to have their shit together. What happens?
registered independent. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, I will say one thing. You look better. You look healthier than you were last time you were streaming hardcore.
Well, I'm on my feet every day, dude. I spent all summer edging, weed eating,
Edging,
and
huh? Okay, all
yeah.
right. I mean, like this
it's like
gooner gang over here, critical thinking veteran.
yeah, dude. Like any other fucking. I was telling the guys that too. I was like, you know what? If I went on stream and told everybody that, like, look, this is what I'm doing every day. I'm edging and blowing. Okay.
Oh fuck.
I'm edging and blowing all fucking day. Okay.
So what made you come back, man? You just finally got time. You ready to like? You got like enough space on it? I'm gonna tell you what. I took a break to move into this house, and I got off Twitch because, I mean, you know, the writing was on the wall for conservatives on Twitch. I knew that you saw that, like, and you tried to warn a lot of people about like the fact that like there was no community amongst conservatives because every conservative was like, oh, you're my competition now. And like, there was so many like little backstabbing bitches that were like grifters, that were like not real fucking conservatives, that were doing a lot of little games and shit. But more than that, like the censorship just kept getting worse and worse and worse on Twitter. And weirdly enough, getting better on YouTube, right? Like I think YouTube was like, okay, we can't let Rumble beat us. So like they chilled out on a lot of the COVID stuff. They chilled out on a lot of things. And I'm still no big fan of the censorship and stuff, but yeah. But I left Twitch like every conservative at this point, basically, except for like a few of them. Yeah, I took a break and, like I said, move in and stuff and like kind of come back strong. And man, it was nice to get some perspective, like get away from the audience capture, kind of like rethink what I'm doing here and stuff. So I imagine with you, I mean, you've been gone. I've seen you pop up, talk to somebody every now and then, but like from regular streaming or anything, you've been gone for what, almost 2 years now?
Been a while. It's like I was looking at Twitch Tracker, and it was pretty much it was like March 22.
Mm.
It was about like that's when I was just like, you know what, I've had enough of this, and it's time to go figure out what the next rollover is for me. And there was already so much that I knew that I didn't know, and there's still so much more that I don't know. But we're closing the gap on what I need to know. So
cryptic motherfucker. What was that? It was like, life is like a leaf on the wind, and sometimes the wind blows, and sometimes the leaves need to be edged. And I've been edging and blowing, and now I know how to be a leaf in the wind and ride the wind and let the wind ride me. You know what I'm saying, boys? Like, what the fuck? Like, what are you talking about, bro?
Oh, you know what I could do? Fuck me, chat. If I was like, not an asshole, I would have already had Fabian up on the fucking screen. But, I'm an asshole, so that didn't happen.
Yeah.
It's happening. It's happening now, though. So there is redemption.
All right, I appreciate it. So CTV is still hold on. It's I'm finding your link real quick so I can.
God, what in the hell just happened there?
Oh my god, mute this.
What?
Dude, you're such a fucking boomer. Oh fuck, this is great. Oh fuck. Just give up, my guy. Just put a fucking monitor thing in the corner and then just blow me up on Discord and put me in the corner on the monitor, man. Don't try and figure this out. Because you just tried to do a virtual cam. It didn't work. Oh my
What's
God.
up, Lisa Pizza? I'm little bits Birdman.
All right, look, just
Oh
add
my
a
God.
scene. Add to your scene like
Okay.
you know, whatever's on a screen, and then make that like that's because you're obviously looking at me on one screen, one monitor. So just add a monitor to this scene and put me in the corner on Discord. Blow it up, and you'll be good to go.
That's a
I'll try and reinvent
wonderful
the wheel.
idea. Let's add.
Nope. There you go. And then just click my image, and then you're good to go. You're still using a virtual cam, so it looks silly on my end, but it's fine. It's no
Right,
big deal.
but you know what? Like this works though.
Okay, all right. Now go to the top. Now just click my portrait like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just click my portrait. There you go.
Ah, I like it. Oh
It'll work for now because now we don't have to try and figure out
now.
your setup or anything, all right?
God, dude. Okay, so the setup, quick recap, right? 1200K, 13700K, RTX 3070, this behemoth, right? It's I'm working on the 5 screens, right? And I have the 34-inch ultra wide right in front of me with the other ones as wings with the other 2 down low. And then I got the camera right here in the front right here. And then I got another camera up high right here.
Sounds like you got a lot of equipment you don't know how to fucking use. Right?
It's and then like over here, of course,
to the people
we
giving
got
me shit. Hold on, to the people giving me shit about like my green screen, Discord doesn't have a chroma key. So if I turn on like a green screen background, it'll just be like the standard shitty thing that like clips everywhere. Like this is a Discord issue for not having a chroma key. Like if we were on Streamlab or StreamYards or like something else that has a chroma key, then it would recognize my green screen. But that's why I just have like a random ass green screen behind me. Okay.
Yep.
So people are like, why is it just green behind you? Like, why don't you turn on your green screen shit? Like, now, if I wanted to set up a fucking OBS virtual cam and do it that way, I could. I absolutely could. But then I'd be having all these boomer moments that he's fucking having, and then I'd be getting made fun of just as much. And I don't feel like dealing with all that shit.
Yeah. Here's the difference though between you and me. I don't give a fuck if people make fun of me. I could give 2 flyings of a fuck.
I mean,
as a matter of fact, all that means is that they have opened themselves up in a very direct way for me to make fun of them, right? So I hope they're ready for the onslaught that returns, right? Because it's definitely mutually assured destruction. You see what I'm saying?
I mean, sure. I mean, or I don't really care, but I mean, I care. I mean, how much do I care on a scale of 1 to 10? How much do I care? I care like a 1 or a 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you know, I'm
So
not
here's
gonna
the
let
deal.
people talk. But so much shit, I'm gonna explain it. You know.
So here's the deal. I feel like one good thing that we could definitely talk about would be like why marijuana, that bill failed in Florida.
I mean, I have a lot of thoughts and opinions on drug legalization that I think is probably going to be surprising to a lot of people because you know they see me because I'm an anarchist, right? I'm a libertarian.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. It'd be interesting. Like, actually, what's your opinion on it first? Why do you think the Florida marijuana bill failed?
Well, because I voted against it, of course.
Of course, yeah. You and chat, you know, banded together and swung the bill.
And that's it. That's what we do. So the reason why it failed though was because all it did was one, as soon as it passed, all of the medical patients in the state of Florida would immediately have to start paying tax on their medicine.
Right.
Which is bullshit.
Right. Well, I mean,
Okay.
like, you know, how much is of marijuana usage is medicine, and then what is medicine, right? Like, I feel like medicine becomes like a loaded word there because, like, on one hand, if it makes you feel better and reduces your life anxiety, is that not medicine? And then on the other hand, if you're just smoking it to get high because you like it, you like feeling good and you like feeling high, is that medicine? Like, just depending on the way that you do, but that's kind of the same thing, right? Like, I don't know, I smoke weed, it makes me feel better, is like, is the same way as, you know what I mean? So, like, just depending on how you phrase it kind of changes the way whether or not it's viewed as medicine. I don't know. I don't really consider it medicine for most instances, but I understand the
Well, I don't
argument.
know if it prevents homicides.
I mean, I guess.
I'm pretty sure it prevents homicides for sure.
I feel like it prevents homicides, sure. I feel like the drug war has kind of like made it also cause homicides. You know what I mean? Like, because obviously there's a black market and money to be made, and you're dealing with a criminal element, right? So like, it certainly causes it, but I wouldn't say that that's the weed that's causing it. That's the state intervention.
Yeah.
But no, so I mean, that, like, these marijuana legalization bills are really complicated, and the reason they're really complicated is exactly as you mentioned, because taxes are involved. And the moment taxes get involved is the moment that, like, you once you recognize, okay, well, taxes are involved. Well, what does that mean? And that means more than just like, oh, you know, there's a black market where there aren't taxes, or there's a market where there's little taxation now, and then there's, this is going to introduce it and make it more expensive. But it means that there's a corporate element, right? And once there's a corporate element and there's taxation, and then the state is involved in kind of like certifying these procedures and things, you realize that, like, the legalization process is not as simple as like, oh, it's legal or it's illegal. Like, there's a lot of corporate lobbying in one direction or the other to make it legal, but make it legal with heavy regulation slowly, so that corporations and investors with large amounts of money can be the ones that dominate the market. And because it's already a regulated industry to non-existence, and it's opening itself up, it's one of those industries that it's rife for extreme regulation. And any industry that has extreme regulation means that there are going to be corporate partners that can basically keep themselves from having competition. Because the more regulation there is in a market, the more likely it is that a corporation can, like, that has a large amount of investment capital, can, like, be in that market without any new businesses springing up, right? Like, we saw this with, like, Murder Mountain in California, right? Humboldt County, right? Where marijuana legalization in California destroyed so many pot farms in, like, kind of like one of the major places that weed was made, because, like, the legalization process was too expensive for small farmers, and there's, like, all these corporate interests that are involved.
He definitely likes hearing himself talk, don't he, chat?
Well, you're walking around and shit. It's not like I there was twice in there where I was like, I guess I got to keep talking.
Nah, bro,
like doing
I'm listening. That's the whole reason why I went back to the wireless mic, because I didn't like being. I'm very much about the freedom,
Okay.
So, like, I would much rather have a little bit less audio quality on the norm, right? And then, like, only time myself too. Which, by the way, I've got the fucking boom mic, right? You'll like this.
Will I?
See, I got it
nice.
mounted up here. Yeah, hold on.
Yeah,
Let me
but
see
it's
if
like,
I can.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
So, like, one, here's the computer.
Oh, this is so scuff.
See that? We got the wolf in there. Look at this. See the second system?
Yes, I mean, I've seen it before, not in its current thing.
And then,
good God, brother, what are you playing? Is that like?
Oh, that's Call of Dragons. I'm not actually doing anything with it. I had it up, but just kind of sitting there, occupanting space. But yeah,
I could
Anyway.
use another monitor. I'm not gonna lie. Like I really wish I had a third monitor off to the side just so I could have chat on it.
Yeah, so it ultimately it was just, you know, too much corporation, and I think it's ultimately going to end up hurting True Leave. But Ron DeSantis came out, fucking let everybody know about what's up. Grady Judd came out, fucking letting everybody know what's up. And then next thing you know, people are looking into it. Crazy. But anyway,
Well, I think
the
one
thing
Go
that
ahead.
I really the thing that I mean, like, really, Biden came into office. We're all looking at it and going, where did these 20 million extra motherfuckers come from? Right? How did somebody that campaigned from his basement actually fucking win? Whole lot of questions there, right? So you take that, and then
There are
you're just
no. I don't
having-
know what the fuck you're talking about. There are no goddamn questions about the 2020 election. All right.
Yeah.
That was the
Yeah.
most safe and secure election in U.S. history. All right.
bullshit. Bull fucking shit. You know what I'm so happy about
YouTube,
too? Is it
for the YouTube algorithm and for all of the YouTube rules on misinformation and disinformation, I would like to say that I have absolutely no questions about Donald Trump losing the election, but winning 18 out of the 19 bellwether counties, or the fact that he had the largest black vote in American history, proportionally, unless of course you take out Fulton County and Detroit, Michigan, and Maricopa County and a few others. Like I have no questions about the integrity of that election whatsoever. You know, just because the election was fortified, we're good. This bitch muted me.
so like
I see how it is.
you see how what is?
So I can see your screen, bitch. I can see when you mute me so that you talk to chat.
Yeah, but I didn't mute you. I was actually just we were talking at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Go back and listen to the VOD if you doubt. Go back and listen to the VOD if you doubt. They were listening to fucking both of us. But I didn't mute your ass, okay? I just muted me so that I wasn't being rude to you. Yeah.
just I don't care, man. I'm just teasing.
It's
This
very
is so
weird.
Scuff.
It's very weird what the etiquette is in an online space, ain't it?
Yeah, I mean, like, there's a lot of unspoken rules, and you don't find out what those rules are until like a mob of people get angry at you.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
And you know what? You know what the best way to react to that is?
to ignore them, and it'll go away in 2 weeks.
That's right. Tell them all to fuck off. All of them. And then the most important thing you could do is, in that moment, make an argument, right, that is going to stand the test of time, and then make sure, right, that you embody that motherfucker in an emote, okay? If you do that, right?
Yeah, like the fucking dinosaur, like the dinosaur one.
Yeah. Yeah. Because people see that, and they fucking know. They fucking know. They go, that's that motherfucker. They'll know, right?
I'll have to show that. Well, I'll have to show you guys that clip sometime. I think it's still on your channel, isn't it?
Yeah, I left it up there purposefully. Okay.
You like took everything off your channel except for like that one and like 2 other videos. He was like, no, we're keeping that one. That one's hilarious. But yeah, getting back to marijuana,
Do it.
legalization. So I don't know. So obviously, you know, one of the big things about, you know, libertarians, you know, at least is like the majority of us, we're like this seen as like this God's guns ganja. You know, I want gay people to be able to like worship whatever religion on their pot farm and get married, whatever. That's not me personally. You know what I mean? I'm not a fucking degenerate, but whatever. But one of the things that I notice, not for the most part.
Okay.
I mean, like I'm sure there's aspects of my lifestyle that are, but one of the things
I just think you were in the army, right? There's definitely a level to it.
Yeah, I was a 68 whiskey in the army. Yeah, there's some degeneracy left in me somewhere. But no, like when it comes to like weed legalization, right? I think one of the biggest failures of libertarians and like paleo libs and paleo cons, right, is that we have failed to notice that the apparatus of like law and the state is like playing a game of Jenga. And sometimes we fight for wins, but it's like you can't always just pull out any piece, right? If you're going to pull out a piece, you have to be smart about what piece you pull out. And so like when we look at Washington State, they legalize drugs all across the board, right? Or they decriminalize the usage of drugs. And so what happened? Well, all the homeless people in the area moved to like Seattle because they're a transient population. And then people were doing heroin and shit in like kids' parks. And like people were smoking weed like in public places, blowing weed smoke in people's faces and shit. And then like in crime rose and problems occurred. And so everyone, even like the Democrats and the lefties in like Washington were like, dude, fuck drug legalization. We have to scale this back. And it's like, you can't just have like a drug be decriminalized and then, you know, not have the other elements treated in such a way, right? And so like you can't just decriminalize a drug but then still arrest drug dealers, keep corporations and like tech companies out of the distribution and sale of drugs, keep it as like a, you know, a thing where drug smuggling is still a thing, and then make all of your public facilities allowable to have these drugs so that degenerates end up doing drugs at like your kids' park and shit. It's like there is it addressed one problem, but because there are all of these other problems, they became exacerbated, right? And I think that has been devastating towards
Are
like
you
this
not
movement
streaming
of
on
drug
Twitch?
legalization. No, I haven't been on Twitch. I told you I quit Twitch. I'm on
So
YouTube.
where are you streaming? You're on
I'm on YouTube right now. Well, because the
Yeah,
thing is,
because
if I
somebody
get,
in chat was asking for your link, and I'm sitting here like an asshole looking for it on Twitch.
so like if I get banned on Twitch, right, then like I can't go on a single Twitch panel, and like I can't go on a debate panel with someone on Twitch because because they'll get in trouble for having me on, right? But if I'm on YouTube and I get banned, I would just be like, all right, boys, I guess it's time to move to Rumble. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't actually really affect me in any way. I mean, it would obviously monetarily, but like I could still do my content.
Yeah, but I think there's there really is less of a chance of getting banned. I mean, like, think about the shit that we talked about on stream back then, and then now we're definitely getting more into a free speech environment. And they're definitely got the tags and labels in place, right? For 18 plus, profane language. Like, let me put the disclaimer out there ahead of time, and then if you're tuning in, it's definitely at your own fucking peril, because I'm like trying to let you know ahead of time, hey, I'm probably going to talk about politics. I'm a sailor, therefore a role model, so I use the word fuck as a noun, verb, adjective, in every which a fucking way that the word can fucking be used. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
and I drove trucks. You know what I mean?
I'm not going back to Twitch until Twitch gets rid of their policy where where you can't have anyone that's banned on Twitch in a different stream.
Well, the reason why they do that is just because people that would, and Destiny's an example of that. But Destiny's one of those guys that is just simply being provocative at different points for the sake of it. And just to see how far he can push things, right? And there's a little bit of a rebel in all of us. So, you know,
I'm just saying, if they get rid of that policy, right, then I might come back. I like the Twitch experience more, right? Because Twitch's like integration with oh my god, now I can't think of the technical term for it, but like the ability to have like, you know, on-screen effects and things. I can't think of the fucking term, but you know what I'm talking about. Like there are things that like the code. I don't know why my brain can't conjure the name for it, but you know what I mean, right? Like where I can spend channel points and get people to like put things on screen and, you know, on-screen effects and things like that. I think the Twitch user experience for live streaming is better than YouTube. But nevertheless, you know, with that current situation on Twitch. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Plus, I kind of like YouTube a little bit more too, because there's kind of like YouTube is, ever since YouTube Shorts have come out, there's been a kind of a focus on like vertical kind of brand as opposed to like horizontal. Like YouTube used to be like, if you were a live streamer, it would kill your channel to put out regular videos and vice versa. Right. And like YouTube has kind of figured out that like, we're not going to kill your channel. We're going to recognize that your live stream viewers is the main thing you do. And if you put out a video, we'll send it to like you can put long form content, streams, short videos, YouTube shorts all in the same place. And they all kind of feed off of each other, where for years you had to have like a different channel for all of those things, because it would kill your channel to like have those that content together. And so it's just more simplistic without a video editor. But I feel you. I mean, I do like Twitch. I'm like, I don't hate Twitch or anything. I just kind of saw the censorship and bullshit, and there was no conservatives on Twitch. The audience there was like mostly just trolling lefties that would come in to like spurg the fuck out. Whereas like, you know, there was a bigger audience for the type of content that I do on YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's I like politics, so I talk about politics. I've been looking at a lot of videos about modding, you know, the OG Xbox is actually doing the RAM upgrades, trading out the CPU, shit like that. So I think I'm going to be learning how to solder for shits and giggles. And then
that sounds like fun.
You know, yeah, and then you know, there's other things obviously that, and just kind of pick it up from there, because it's you know, less about politics. Because if I had to talk about politics all the time, you know, I'd probably just end up leaving whatever it was that was making me do that.
Yeah, I mean, I have nights where I just talk about like my whole goal, right? If I was like a grifter and I wanted to make money in the politics space, I wouldn't be a fucking ANCAP, right? You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't be here preaching a political philosophy that is, you know, likely one of the least popular, if not the least popular political philosophy in existence, right? Other than like maybe like monarchists or something, but even those guys like have a following. But so like it's very clear. I think, you know, people can call me a grifter if they want, but that would just be dumb, because I wouldn't be doing this if I was a grifter. And so like one of my main goals is to spread libertarian philosophy. And so like I get what you're saying, but it's like I have nights where I just talk about philosophy, right? Where we're just talking about like, you know, argumentation ethics or estoppel principle, or, you know, going into embordering, or like, you know, specifically talking about like, you know, reacting to or watching videos from like, you know, Luxemburgist, you know, form of Marxism, and trying to like differentiate the two. And those nights, if I did that every night, I'd have one viewer, right? I'd have like one guy that was like, I love this guy. And then like they would be me and him. Right. So, you know, so I recognize like, you know, I have to do other nights where like I'm just debating commies and calling them stupid, you know, and then other nights where I'm like reacting to like, you know, popular kind of forms of content that's in the you know, in the general public domain that everyone's, you know, the general public discourse. So like, yeah, I get my kicks out that way. You know what I mean? So like, am I doing politics every day? Yeah. But like, am I approaching it the same way and putting on the exact same content every day? No. You know what I mean? So like I definitely feel you on that. I just differentiate the way that I do that, if that makes sense.
Mm. Yeah,
there's like
yeah. I'm
three
not.
people in my chat are like, I feel attacked right now. It's like, I'm that guy. I was like, yes, I'm here for that. You see what I'm saying? Like, there's a couple of them. There's a couple of hardcore nerds, autistic nerds that are like, I'm here for that, dog. Like, when are we watching a Luxemburgist video?
Yeah, I'm sitting there thinking, this is some of the nerdiest shit I think I've listened to in the last year and a half.
Well, I mean, I'm no shame, bro. Like, I'm a philosophy, politics nerd. You know, that's my deal. That's my niche.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's definitely some of the nerd, but like, it's not a bad thing. It's just I would have to be in the right frame of mind, I think. You know what I mean? Because that's you gotta
Yeah,
let
and
go.
you can't be too high and talk at like a high political philosophy level and be like, let me give my
Yeah.
deductive argument for free will from the objectivist perspective.
Yeah, cause see, that's more of a moonshine talk.
Is it moonshine? Yeah, yeah. It's like I need to think and I need to think slowly.
See, right now, see that's what the weed's for, right? The I'm just chill. You know, the moonshine, you remember, right? Is where the amperage goes up quite a bit. Deflux, I see you out there, buddy. Did you see Biden last night? He doesn't want to sign the TikTok ban. Fabian, what do you think about this TikTok ban?
So I'm against the TikTok ban. Now that doesn't mean I like TikTok. Fuck TikTok. I don't like Chinese propaganda, where the algorithm is specifically designed to push degeneracy and idiocy on, Western culture to try and, foment critical theory values and, gooners together to like weaken the West. I don't like TikTok. Fuck TikTok. If someone sends me a TikTok, I go, hey, I don't have TikTok on my phone. So I don't know, figure out a way to download it, bitch. I'm not watching that stupid shit. But what I don't want is I don't want the state given this kind of like constitutional authority to ban a social media platform that people use under the guise of it being like some foreign attack based off of propaganda or of misinformation, disinformation, right? Because I imagine a world where we ban TikTok and then, 2 years later, censorship reaches a certain level and some company in Poland, right, creates like a free speech alternative. And then the state uses the same authority we vested in it to ban TikTok to ban that, right? Like, I don't like the concept that like the United States government can just unilaterally ban something and be like, well, it's Chinese propaganda and Chinese propaganda is bad. And it's like, bitch, did you read the fucking Twitter files? Like, did you like CISA signed by Trump in 2019, like gave even more power than what all of these 3-letter and 4-letter agencies already had to directly influence. Like, you think Twitter or Instagram's better because it's American? Like, you think the CIA isn't using, things like In-Q-Tel and the National Endowment for Democracy, Foreign Relations Council, 1,000 different, non-governmental organizations to influence these sites, steal your information and censor you?
What do you think about Israel?
Like TikTok's worse. You didn't even respond to everything that I said. You're just like, all right, now go off on Israel. Oh God. Oh my fucking God. All right, so Israel.
I mean, let's just go ahead and get it up because you know me, I jump around, right? And it's just so much easier for me to just be let me preload you up.
It's like you're trying to hot potato me and get me angry, like by just like being like, now another one. Like give me a second to calm down, brother, before I go off the rails. All right. So here's how I feel about Israel. First of all, fuck Israel because they're a nation state, just like fuck any other country. Second of all, they have way too much influence in our politics. AIPAC can go fuck itself. Our political and corporate connections to Israel in terms of us, being so easily swayed by bullshit lies and argumentation from, Israeli intelligence and their state apparatus to get us involved in wars that we shouldn't be involved in. Like, they can fuck themselves that way. Fuck Likud. Fuck all of the kind of like right-wing, I guess you'd call them right-wing, Zionist kind of groups that helped buff Israel. I don't give a fuck about the Holy Land. I don't give a fuck about like some religious connection. Now, that all of that being said, all right, I think there's weird tribalism where it's like, well, you're either pro-Israel or you're pro-Palestine. And it's like, dude, fuck Hamas, fuck the PLO. Like, my family, like some of my family are Lebanese that fled just before the Lebanese civil war that was caused by PLO after they attempted to assassinate the fucking leaders in Jordan. They come in and, cause, Black September in Lebanon. So I don't even, like, those are like the better guys compared to, Hamas. You know, like I don't like it's like, and there's this lie told by a lot of libertarians and a lot of like anti-war people, which is just half truths about the story of Israel, right? There's like history magically starts at the Nakba. Like they never talk about all of the terrorist organizations and bombings and murdering of civilians that occurred in, you know, from Muslims into Jewish kibbutzes. They never talk about the fact that, like, you know, the multiple intifadas that were, you know, launched against Israel. They never talk about the constant threat of bombings. They never talk about, like, you know, Camp David twice, where like Israel tried to get these motherfuckers a two-state solution and then they just denied it because they want every Jew dead. Like they purposefully misinterpret bombings and situations as if Israel is just going around bombing random hospitals. But it's like Israel uses like knocking the roof technology that was developed there specifically to reduce casualty rates. Like the IDF has done a lot of evil shit, like a lot of nation states do. And I don't like Israel any more than any other nation state. And to be fair, I have a little bit more of a particular ire on them because of their influence in my state government. But like, but I'm just not with these. Like, I'm noticing people that are like, see how many Jews are involved in this? Isn't Israel so bad? And it's just like, I think both sides of the aisle have a horrible understanding of like the 6-day war and history, and almost every perspective, every pundit seems to have like chosen a side, and because of that, they're mostly what comes out of their mouth is half truths to a complicated conflict, and so they're all. You know, I almost everyone I see, I'm like, you're a fucking grifting lying sack of shit, or you're retarded and you shouldn't be talking about this.
Well, I guess I'll kind of breeze over this one. I didn't really have like
you brought up Israel.
I know. So like I didn't really have like a particular take on Israel one way or the other than, you know, as a Christian and, you know, the history of the Jewish people. You know, the fact that when I was born, there was already a Jewish state, you know, just like, well, let's just keep that going. There's no reason to like,
but not
you know,
when Biden was born. I just want to point that out, that Biden is older than Israel.
Wow. That's perspective, ain't it? So like, I didn't really have like a take either way. Other than that, so like it would be like they're an ally, you know, they're fucking with them, let's go kick some ass, right? Now, in the last, I would say, month, I got like a real detailed first account from Phil Turney with his interview with Candace Owens, Phil Turney is the president of the Veterans Association for the USS Liberty. So then, like, and you know me, right? Like, some historian tells me a thing, and they're like, a government did this, there were some witnesses to that. It's like, okay, well, that's just all nice. What are the facts? And then I'll just kind of go from there. But whenever I hear from a direct person that was fucking there, and they're telling me that, yes, the fucking regular colors, 8-foot by 5-foot flag was flying, and then the first attack that came by 3 planes that were not marked, that knocked out the communications towers and shot down the flag. And then, right, the next thing that happens, you know, the torpedo boats are on the way, right? And while that's going on, they hook up a radio antenna from the radio room, right? And they had to manually hook it up to what was left of the antenna to get a SOS out. So then the SOS goes out, and then the fucking 6th Fleet picks it up. They put birds in the fucking air heading their way because they got a SOS from the USS Liberty, which only has, by the way, 4 50 caliber machine guns to defend itself. It's not a warship. Mm-hmm. It's a communication ship, right? So then the torpedo boats are on the fucking way in. So while they get this fucking SOS out, they hoist the holiday colors, bro.
I don't know what that means.
The 13-foot by 8-foot fucking American flag.
Oh, okay.
Holiday colors, right? Because you fly them on Sundays or, federal holidays, you fly the bigger flag.
Right.
No? Okay, maybe that's more of a Navy thing. We have to kind of...
Yeah, I wasn't Navy. Like I just didn't know the term. Like, here's the thing, right? I think so. I tell people
I wasn't quite done, right?
All right, well, go ahead.
So after hearing his firsthand account about that, and it's like in my mind, there's no excuse, and then they want to come back and say misidentification, bull fucking shit, all fucking day. So now I got like a legitimate gripe with an ally, and I kind of feel like that until you fucking apologize at a minimum, I don't feel like I can let go of this fucking bone. And I wasn't even alive. My dad was 2 years old when this fucking thing happened. But I heard the account from the sailor that was fucking there. You know?
So here's the thing, right? I agree with you that Israel owes us an apology for the USS Liberty. I agree that Israel and a lot of people grifting sacks of shit like Charlie Kirk, where people bring up the USS Liberty and he says it's a conspiracy theory that it even happened and don't talk about it, right? Should be called out for the grifting pieces of shit that they are. But there's something special, I think, about Jews in general in Western culture. I think everyone should read The Stranger by George Simmel, because I think he really adequately discusses the concept of where Jews sit in our culture and in our society. They're kind of apart from it, while a part of it, and many different aspects. It's a great read. It's only 2 or 3 pages. And I think it gives you a little bit of a perspective on that. And so there's something weird about Israel and about the way that people react to things that Israel does, where there's special attention on them, partly because of their religion, partly because of where they sit in our culture.
Well, no, it has everything to do with the fact that everybody around them wants to fucking kill them.
That's when I say where they sit. That's kind of what I mean, right? They're
okay.
Every other nation around them is antagonistic.
Every fucking one of them wants to kill them. The fact that they exist is a problem,
without a doubt. And so there's this weird thing too, where people want me to hate Israel specifically, and so the evil shit that Israel has done gets highlighted. It's the USS Liberty happened coming on 60 years ago. It's if we were to drudge up shit that other countries have done, you know what I mean, in the last 60 years, every single one of our allies has done something super fucked up. Maybe not directly against us, but in
maybe you don't know the other detail. Maybe you don't know these other details. So the planes that were sent,
mm-hmm.
the first batch of them were called back by then Secretary of Defense Robert McNamara. The USS America, having heard this, sent out another fucking flight of planes towards the USS Liberty, and they were called back. Again, not by Robert McNamara this time, but by Lyndon B. Johnson himself.
Mm-hmm.
And what he said was, I don't give a damn about dead sailors. I don't want to embarrass our ally Israel.
Yeah.
So here's the timeline of events is
I hate every president. You know what I mean? It's cool. Yeah, Lyndon B. Johnson's a piece of shit. You know what I mean? They all are.
Yeah. So they fucking,
except for maybe Calvin Coolidge. Even he was actually.
Yeah. So it's one of the quote unquote conspiracy theories, right? Because you're not gonna know what happened for sure. But essentially, they just offered up the Liberty as a fucking war exercise to Israel. Another one is that because of the capabilities of the ship, Israel had a real problem with America having the ability to spy on them, and then they took the ship out, and then their ability to spy on what was going on during the 6 Days War goes away,
Yeah.
So, yeah. I'm leaning real heavy towards that one, which means that the ally showed mistrust, and that mistrust then had them take an action that got our people killed. And that is some bullshit. You can't have relationships like that.
Yeah, like again, like I said, I don't have any fucking love for Israel. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I'm just, like it's just one of those things. I just found out about it, so like now I'm kind of working my way through it.
Fair enough.
So like,
I mean, it's just like, yeah, I mean, like the 6-Day War. It's like there's a lot of what's like the 6-Day War is an interesting kind of conversation in terms of like what I'm talking about, where like there's a lot of half truths about what's going on. And this is, I don't want to both sides of this, but like, yeah, from the pro-Israel Zionist kind of faction, the USS Liberty is something we can't talk about, and then on the other side, there's this like belief system that like Israel just started bombing people, because they wanted to gain some land or something. Like I hear this constantly from like libertarians and lefties and shit. It's like, oh, it was a war of aggression. And it's like, dude, Egypt took over the Suez Canal. Israel went to the UN to try and get it resolved through the UN, and then the UN backs out, and then Israel and Jordan both start amassing fucking troops on their border. And it's like any other nation, you would have been like, yeah, sure, bomb these fuckers. But when they go out and they bomb some airfields that are near their border where they're prepared to like invade Israel, all of a sudden like they're the, like Israel is like the great evil or something. But also, yeah, I would say that the quote unquote conspiracy theory that you threw up as the second is probably the most likely explanation, right? I mean, the explanation that they made a mistake and then they continued making that same mistake on a vessel, you know what I mean? For I don't remember how long it lasted, but it wasn't like this all happened in 5 minutes. Like this happened over hours, right? And it's like, that doesn't make any fucking sense whatsoever. What makes a whole lot more sense is that we were trying to figure out what was going on, and and maybe we had permission or maybe we didn't, and Israel was like, "Ooh, you want to fucking know what we're doing? Go fuck yourself. We're gonna bomb you, and we don't give a fuck that you're supposedly our ally because we don't like you looking at what we're doing." And then Lyndon B. Johnson, along with a lot of other Zionists and a lot of other people, were like, "Oh no, we can't do anything against our greatest ally."
You do realize that LBJ was Jewish, right?
I mean, I'm not a noticer. I don't put together who is and who isn't Jewish. I mean, it's such a fucking
No. It was a part of the documentary that I watched. Well, there was like a whole, like when I went off on this tangent, there was like, give me information.
Right, but like Jewish
and like credible
like,
sourced information, not bullshit.
Like. Right, but there's a difference between being like Orthodox and being like, fucking ethnically Jewish to some degree. And like, this is another kind of like unique thing about being Jewish is that like you can be an atheist that never went to a fucking synagogue, right? And like still be a Jew. And it's like, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't care who is or who isn't a Jewish person, by some like matrilineal
I guess for
lineage,
me,
you know what I mean?
Well, I care whenever that lineage is something that you show more loyalty to than your country. I got a real big problem with that, and I don't give a fuck who it is.
Yeah, I mean, like,
period.
I'm all for getting rid of dual citizenship, right? If you're going to be in our government, like if you want to be a congressman or a senator,
didn't say anything about that.
Well, no, I'm saying, so all Jews are given dual citizenship of Israel, right? And so, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm all for saying, like, if you want to be in our government, like, you have to renounce and revoke your citizenship, to another nation, regardless of whether or not it's Israel. I'm all for certain things like that, but at the end of the day, I don't really care. I see a lot of people make spurious connections about who is and who isn't a Jew and like where their loyalties lie and stuff. And
I don't think he ever had a citizenship to Israel per se. Perhaps he did, but I'm not aware of it if he did. That said, what I'm saying specifically is that what he's quoted as saying is that he called the leader of Israel at the time and told them that he would that he wouldn't have any better ally than him, right? And then in the documentary that I watched, that's when they go, and here's the reason why, and they go back into LBJ's history, and you go, oh, okay. So while I'm not going to recall every detail right now, the information can be refound.
My chat is just like, I have like a Juiceberg that like comes in to chat. I mean, there's just like, how is he not here the one time that this is being talked about? Yeah, I don't know, man. It's like I don't know. I don't know all of the details of the USS Liberty. It's not something that I've like deeply investigated or like watched any documentaries on. I know like cursory knowledge. I've looked into it before. Obviously, you know more about like the timeline of events and things of that nature. But like
it's only because it involved the Navy.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, I don't know. Like, I just feel like there's, of all the things, if this is what makes America give up foreign aid and like stop trying to have like, this weird relationship with the intelligence community in Israel and go more isolationist, I guess I'm for it. I just like, I'm very leery of this growing kind of like sentiment on the right of like, like this JQ faction of like the right. And so like, I don't know. I try not to feed into it too much because it's just like, it's got enough fuel. Like it's got enough fuel. It doesn't need any more.
So here's the other one that I got for you, right? Because it has been a while since we talked, right? So what did you, when you started hearing them talk about adding Canada and Greenland and these different parts of the world, right, as states of the United States, did CTV happen to come to mind?
No, I'm sorry.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
That's crazy. Because that's exactly what I've been saying for like, the whole fucking time.
I mean, to me, it sounds like a meme, right? Like, I mean,
no,
like
it's not a meme.
Sounds like a meme
Definitely
to me. It doesn't sound like a serious political position.
Definitely not a meme. I don't know how you could not take it serious.
I mean,
have you never played Risk?
Yeah, I've played Risk.
Okay, so guess what, asshole? Everybody else is still playing Risk.
Yeah, I mean, I one thing I remember about playing Risk is usually someone ends up upending the fucking game and getting pissed because someone backstabbed them or something. And, I feel like it's better to not play the game of Risk. Every time I've ever played the game of Risk, it's always, nobody's walked away all that much happier than when they started playing Risk. So right. I think Risk is an apt metaphor.
Have you ever played Risk just to survive?
I mean, when I play Risk, I usually grab like that, oh God, what's like those 4 tiles? That's like the smallest continent. Like that's my goal.
Page 79. What's on page 79?
You know what I'm talking about? Like there's like 4, like you only need like 4 tiles and it's like 2 army pieces per turn. That's exactly what I do. I play Risk to survive.
Well, the reason why I asked,
other people kill each other and then I just build up a big army until like I'm ready to take over. Like
so like Asia. This is the reason why I ask, right? Is because if you're trying to survive, where is the best place to set up shop that is the most easily defended?
So it's 4 tiles, isn't it? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm like...
Dude, you froze.
I'm like, the 4... Are you... Was that like your way of saying... It's like your way of saying Australia?
Yeah, that's what it is. I was trying to remember. It's Australia and like New Zealand and like that little section down there. That's the best place, as far as I can tell, just to survive and amass troops. Because there's only like one vector of attack to Australia. So there's only like they have to amass troops on one tile in order to attack you.
Here's the problem with Australia. And anybody who's set up shop in Australia and tried to survive understands what they're fighting against, right? Is one, you can be invaded from the north, from North America. You can be invaded from Europe, right? Or you can be invaded from Africa. Or you can be invaded from Siam, directly from Asia.
No, I'm pretty sure you can only be invaded from Asia.
Nah. See, because there's really only like within 3 or 4 countries, and they're at your border.
Okay, yeah, but like they have to take Asia first.
But Asia, the Asian interior is usually predominantly empty because people are defending it, like, say, Ukraine and the Middle East.
Brother, I'm not a huge Risk player, but when I played Risk, that's what I would do. And you asked what is the most defensible position. I'm pretty
Right,
sure
so
that
we're
was
not.
it.
So where do you think that the second best place would be?
South America, maybe, because it's only 4 tiles, so it's easy to
Nah,
manage troops.
bro. Nah, it's too much traffic.
I don't
Too much
play
traffic.
Risk that much. Like, just tell me the answer that you want, sir, because I'm clearly not giving it to you. Are you saying it's Greenland? Is that what you're trying to
No,
say? Like,
I'm North America. North
Okay,
America
alright.
is much better than Australia because of its economy and its defensible positions. And Europe and Asia are always going to be in fucking turmoil, right? Africa, if they're planning on expanding anywhere, has to do so either into South America or up into Asia or Africa. So, like, the best OP position to be in is, in fact, North America. So, if we're trying to shore ourselves up in the Arctic, what's the next territory you think we need to be trying to acquire?
I mean, yeah, sure. If you like, I mean, like, life is not a fucking video game, and it's certainly not a board game, right? Like, I don't think taking Canada is like an intelligent move. I think it's silly. I think it would cost us way too much, not only in manpower, but more importantly in
What makes you think that?
diplomatic soft power.
What do you mean? What do you mean take Canada? You
What do
think it'd have to be forced?
You think Pierre Pelevra is going to win and be like, yes, I love Trump so much. Take Canada from us, please. And everyone there is going to, like, they can't, Quebec can't even fucking, has been trying for like 40 fucking years to be their own thing. And they still can't manage to get that to happen. So, like, no, they're not going to, no one, like, yeah, you might get some vote for it, but like Canada's not going to vote itself into America. Like, let's be serious.
You don't think so?
I'm saying I'm so confident in that I believe.
Let me put it like
to
this.
say otherwise.
Let me put it like this. We got the president that's coming into office. 3 days in the wake up. Okay. 3 days in the wake up to no tax on overtime. All right.
Okay.
And his whole agenda is America first. Now,
I mean,
what that means is
supposedly.
Canada either A, needs to get their military like completely up and spend all this money to do that, or, as Trump has suggested, because like we're in a stage right now, and if you fucking look at it, they're really trying to bring down the whole fucking level of the federal government, deleting whole agencies, pulling shit back. Like, that's the whole fucking agenda for this. Is start dismantling shit. It's gonna be fucking beautiful. Right? It's going to be beautiful chaos. This sort of like thrill you to the bone as an ANCAP, right? That said,
I mean, like, I don't trust that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know why so many libertarians take Donald Trump at his word. Like, I don't have any love for Donald Trump. I'm sorry. Like, you know, if he manages to do a lot of these, you know, dismantling of the government cuts through Doge and things like that, yeah, sure, I'll be happy. But like, I don't, you know what I mean? I just don't trust him in that regard. Like with the tariffs, for example, right? I'm left with one of two answers with Donald Trump tariffs. Either A, he's telling the truth, which means he wants to put out blanket tariffs and thinks tariffs are great, which means he wants to destroy the American economy.
Tariffs
or B,
are great. I love tariffs.
Negative. Or B, he's lying and he actually wants to use tariffs intelligently to, you know, force other countries to the negotiating table to open up free trade. So either A, he's retarded and thinks like blanket massive tariffs are going to be good for the economy, good for the American worker, or B, he's a liar and is going to use tariffs intelligently, which is like, cool. I would love to get some free trade through, you know, negotiations. I'd love a strong man that actually gives a fuck about us in that regard, but it still makes him a liar. Like, so either way, like, it's not like I don't view him positively in a moral position. That's just with one of his stances.
Look, here's the deal. It really just kind of comes down to whether or not you believe Donald Trump is in fact through and through an American, and he loves the country.
I think he does. I just think he loves himself more, and which is uniquely good for America. And what I mean by that is that Donald Trump has such a big ego and cares about his legacy and being liked to such a degree that it seems like he's more focused on doing things that he.
You think he cares about being liked? I don't think he cares.
Yes.
I don't. I really don't. I think that when he goes into situations or when he's addressing people, he's doing so in the most earnest and direct way possible. Because, frankly, none of us.
I'm not saying I'm not saying he wasn't earnest. I'm saying that I think that he cares more about like a legacy of being the greatest president than he actually cares about like individual Americans. Like I think he loves the concept of like coming in, shaking things up, making America great again, and like people being like, Donald Trump, you're the greatest, let me build a statue in your honor, more than he actually cares about like the individual worker, the individual farmer. But I'm saying that that's actually uniquely good because every other president we've had in recent history doesn't give a fuck about any of that. They only care about being liked at the dinner parties with other elites. They only care about getting a book deal that's going to make them millions when they get out because they sold our country, to some corporate entity or the World Economic Forum or some other thing. And so like I think Donald Trump's vision of himself and his desire to be seen as this great president is kind of like a Venn diagram where there's this overlap where it really is good for America, many of the policies that he'll do. At the same time, I think that he's kind of easily swayed towards bad shit by like people that kind of stroke his ego or make him think that this is going to be great. And I don't think he's necessarily a great thinker in some domains.
Yeah, I think that he's a fine thinker. I don't think he has a problem thinking his way through anything that he puts his mind to. I mean, we compare him to fucking Biden, of course. Yeah, I just mean like I don't think he's like some fucking genius that's like playing 4 or 5D chess like a lot of people do. Is what I mean, I guess. I think that's exactly what he's been doing to the best of his ability with all of the different things that have been thrown at him. He has been able to put it this way. The emotional intelligence that the man showed whenever he took a bullet to the ear. He wasn't thinking about himself, I don't think. I think he was thinking about everybody else. I think that when he stood up, he knew that he had to show strength for everyone else. I feel like that the way that he reacted is how a dad would have reacted. How, show everybody like, hey, I'm fine. We got to go get some shit done. That's less about the person. That's more about the people.
I don't know what was going through his mind, right? Like, I don't think anybody does. But my best guess on that was not so much that he was caring deeply about the American public in that moment, more so that he's just like masculine, and we haven't had like a masculine president in a long time, right? I mean, like Bill Clinton was probably like maybe George Bush. George Bush is a little bit of a bitch, right? Obama was definitely a bitch. Biden is definitely a bitch, right?
He's taking in the ass from
Bill Clinton was kind of masculine,
Michael, right?
He's kind of feminine. I don't know about all that. I don't know if I don't fucking know about that. I've seen some videos where it's like, is that a fucking dick? Like that looks like a dick. Like, but I don't know. Like, I need more than that. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, but I do have questions. Questions that I don't necessarily know that I want the answer to, because the proof that I need is not proof I want to see. I don't want to see his wife's dick if his wife has one. But setting that aside, right? Like Bill Clinton was kind of masculine to a degree, but he also had a lot of feminine energy, right? And of course Carter was a bitch. Like literally, it's Reagan, and then after Reagan, like having a true masculine president, it's Trump again. And like, I don't think it's so much that he's like, I care about America. It's more like he just came off great because he actually acted like a fucking man should, which is that he stood up and he fucking said fight, and he fucking like rallied the crowd around him, because like that's just what a man does in that moment. He doesn't cry, he doesn't bitch, he shows strength. And it reminded me a lot of Reagan when like a balloon popped or something popped after an assassination attempt, and like Reagan's next quip was, haha, missed me. Right? Like,
Right.
it's like, you know, it's like it's a masculine energy that I think in a society that has been just force-fed feminization, force-fed like, you know, like this concept that everything that is masculine is bad. And then he finally, you know, shows that in a position of power and authority that so many people reacted to, because they're like, just finally, there's a fucking man in the room that's goal is to get shit done. Like, it's not about fucking appeasing the right people. It's not about, you know, having a speech that went through a committee that was, you know, tested to sound nice. It's not about shoving something like Obama, for example, like just saying a whole bunch of fucking nothing with a lot of college words. It's like, it's just a dude that's like, here's what I'm going to do. You can like it. You can dislike it. I don't give a fuck. Like, we're going to get shit done. And like, I think people respond to that in a big way beyond just the populist anti-elitist kind of perspective of it. That's kind of my take on his reaction to the assassination. Again, but I don't see like this deep love for the American people. I just see a masculine.
Do you
man
really think that the
setting
man
up a legacy?
But I feel like this is kind of. I think Donald Trump has been planting the seeds for his presidency, whatever that was going to look like, since his fucking 40s. I think that there's been a couple of things that's happened along the way that maybe took a little bit more of his time than he realized. It was good for him. He didn't have anything else going on, like The Apprentice as an example, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like him getting involved with the WWF, right, and having that thing with Vince McMahon, you could definitely argue that that was all egocentric, right? But the whole point of it was, you know, he's an entertainer for one, right? So understand that about him. And then two is he understood that the more he was known, his name, Trump, like his whole life, he didn't think about anything other than pushing his name. And you could say, well, the name's Trump. I mean, like, that's a pretty solid name for a brand anyway, right? So just run that.
Yeah.
So it was pretty much just kind of handed this thing, and then he was just like, you know, after his education at the you know, military school, right? He had a structure, and then I think he probably was having this whole thing like, this is what I'm doing. So
yeah, like
to me that shows a lot of strategic. Well, that shows me a lot of strategic thinking, which then if you can understand just like simple things about that individual's personality, then you can extrapolate their capabilities for being able to be strategic whenever they have a thorough knowledge of the assets at their disposal in foreign policy. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't.
And it's not like he doesn't understand business. I mean, it's not like he doesn't.
I think you misunderstood me when I said I don't think he's like this great thinker, right? I'm not saying he's an idiot. I'm not saying he's like below average intelligence or anything. I'm just saying, like, I think a lot of times
it was WWF back in the day, Mav.
Right, like,
sorry, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, he's more focused on UFC, but yeah, these days. But like, yeah, back in the day, he did, like, you can find clips of WWE stuff. But
well, it was
yeah,
WWF when it happened.
Sure.
Yeah.
It was WWE when I was a kid.
Well, I was correcting Maverick in the chat, so that's why I apologize to you. But yeah, it was WWF at the time.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I mean,
buddy.
so like, yeah, I'm just saying, like, I'm not saying I think he's an idiot. What I'm saying is I think there is this assumption from a lot of people of like trust the plan kind of shit, where like Donald Trump can say something kind of dumb or say something that is a bad policy. And then there is this kind of like, there's this almost cult like, you know, hero worship, cult of personality kind of thing, where people, instead of just being like, hey, Trump, that's retarded, don't do that, right? Because all people can have dumb ideas, right? Nobody's immune to that. And instead of that, like what we get is like, oh yes, but it actually must be like he's actually trying to get the media to talk about how bad it is, so that way he can then walk away from it and do this other thing. And then when he does this other thing, no one will see it coming. And it's like, no, dude, like we saw his presidency. He made a lot of the dude kept around John Bolton for 2 years. Like the dude failed miserably in COVID and like trusted all kinds of people that no one should have fucking trusted. And he signed, acts in that like directly led to the inflation that we're currently having. Like we saw him engage in dumb behavior in his first presidency, and this idea that like he's not capable of dumb ideas, but that they must be like this 5D chess thing or something later. It's like, no, I'm gonna take what I see at face value, and maybe there might be some political mechanisms or strategy I'm unaware of, but I just don't assume that like he has this heart for America first, and that like we gotta trust the plan. It's like I see a dude that's already created 2 government agencies and he's not even in fucking office yet, and like yeah, so when people are like he's real libertarian, I'm like cool. Well, he's already created Doge and the ERS. Like I don't know, Doge might be a good thing. The ERS can go fuck itself.
What's the ERS?
External Revenue Service. It's an entirely new tax organization for like the tariffs and and all this other shit.
It's gonna be great.
That's what I'm saying. It's like all these limited government conservatives, and they're like, hell yeah, brother, more taxes. And I'm just like, fucking what, man? They're like, don't you like these taxes as a libertarian? And I'm like, fucking what?
No, they're not taxes.
No, of course not.
There's tariffs, bro. There's tariffs.
Tariffs are a form of taxation, dude.
Wrong. They're a form of keeping dictators in foreign lands honest.
Okay. Well, this goes to what I'm saying, right? If that's what you believe, then what you believe is that the tariffs are going to be targeted. And so if the tariffs are going to be targeted, then the shit he's saying on Joe Rogan and the shit he's saying in speeches goes against how he plans on using it. So you're saying, I believe Donald Trump lies about tariffs because I think he's going to do it in a smarter way than what he says. This is shit I'm talking about.
Here. Yeah, but let's start here, right? One of the first examples that we have in history with the United States and foreign powers and potential tariffs is the Barbary Wars, right?
Okay.
Yeah. And what did we do there? What did we do there?
Jefferson.
We reshaped
fucking troops.
We reshaped global trade then, and then we took ownership of it. That's what happened. After that, the United States took ownership of it. And we still have ownership of it, period, point blank. Russia and China are nowhere near our capability. Russia's, second. China's nowhere fucking near our capability, to be fucking clear.
What does that have to do with what I'm saying, right? Like what I'm saying is that as a libertarian, I don't like tariffs and new taxes. And you're saying tariffs aren't a tax because they're a tool to utilize against dictatorships and trade wars. And what I'm saying is if you believe that, then you believe that like the shit JD Vance and Trump are saying about how we're going to use blanket tariffs and that tariffs are going to bring manufacturing back here and that tariffs are good as a whole, not as a tool to target people that are engaged in fraud or engaged in dictatorial regimes that we're using some form of sanction, but that we're going to use it as a blanket situation. You're saying that that's bullshit and that Trump and Vance are lying, but that they actually have a better plan. I don't necessarily disagree with you. Right. I think Trump has already shown his hand a little bit with his actual actions as opposed to his words when he threatened tariffs on Canada and Mexico and said, you better take action towards bringing drugs into our country and illegal immigrants into our country. And then Mexico was like, okay, we're going to stop the caravans. Right. And like, I think you're right that Trump is going to use tariffs targetedly, right, to protect American interests, and that might be a good thing. But you have to admit that that's him lying, right? And like that's him bullshitting, and then that tariffs aren't fucking like this blanket good, that they're a tax on the American public.
Let me put it like this: if there is one economy in the entire world, if you're a seller that you want to get in on, what market is that?
Banking.
The American market.
Oh, okay. Well,
You want to be able to sell to Americans, right? That's why everybody keeps sending their shit over here, because they want to be able to sell to us. We are a nation of consumers. That's what the fuck we do, right? We have a lot of shit. Take a look around my fucking room, and it becomes obvious.
I mean, sure. I mean, I would say like OPEC plus was probably the first thing, but like in Saudi Arabia. But like second, yeah, sure, the American consumer market. Depends
Right.
on what you're doing.
So that's what's crazy. Is we're being taxed to the fucking hilt, so that money can be sent around the world, because that's what has been happening since I've been fucking born. Since you've been fucking born, that's what's been happening. Why do you want
more taxes? Okay, so you want more taxes to fix the tax.
No. I want tariffs. I want the money coming back in. We don't need trade deficits, right? The entire reworking of the country needs to be manufacturing here, made in the USA, period. And then
but that's not
Panama. You know what? Panama. That's another good one, right? I feel like we need to go down there and just take that shit back over, period.
I mean, at least with Panama, like we sold the Panama Canal for like $1 with the stipulation that they were going to keep that shit open and not tax us, right? And so if they're not going to live up to their end of the deal, then there's a contract that says go fuck yourself. It's ours if you don't live up to our end of the deal. I don't think that's necessarily. I don't have like vitriol for Trump being like, "Hey, bitch, we will invade you if you don't live up to your contract," right? And so like I don't have that much. Panama. I
really feel like.
Yeah, I feel differently about it than I do about like Greenland or Canada.
Yeah, but like the obvious thing is what we've already discussed about, actually having a strong man in the room. The next 4 years, if we don't get shit set up, who's going to be the next strong man?
Yeah, I don't know.
There only one.
I'm not a seer. I don't know.
Well, the only one that I can see anywhere close is Ron DeSantis.
Maybe. I mean,
and that's only because that man is still leading Florida. I'm so happy to be in Florida. I'm so happy to be in Polk County. Okay.
There you go.
I'm down here.
I think JD Vance is setting himself up to be a kingmaker. I don't think JD Vance is going to be president ever. I think JD Vance is likely to have a role similar to Kissinger, because JD Vance is one of the first right-wing intellectuals that we're going to have in a large political office, right? Like JD Vance is an intellectual, right? Like there's not a lot of them in. I'm not saying there's not a lot of them in like the right-wing sphere, but I mean like right-wing sphere that are in positions of power in politics. So I think if the Trump administration goes well, right? If like the Trump presidency succeeds in at least some of its goals and the economy recovers and like we don't have any like new big wars and we ratchet down some of those things, right? If at the end of it like conditions are better and people liked the second Trump term overall, I think the next president, JD Vance, will have a large part of like how that operates. That's if I have to guess, right? Because he seems to me to be the brains behind a lot of the Trump administration. Or he will, because he's going to have the president's ear a lot, and he's going to have a lot of advisors, yes, but JD Vance is probably going to be the smartest person in the room most of the time, and Trump likes him.
I don't see any reason not to like him. Matter of fact, whenever I've heard him speak, he's pointed and direct and.
Yeah, no, I'm not talking shit. I'm being descriptive here, right? Like if I'm trying to guess like what happens in the future, I think JD Vance has a big role to play in it, but not as the figurehead, right? Like I see him behind the scenes more being like the person that is going to make those connections and like be able to kind of like play, like I said, play kingmaker. Like I think JD Vance is going to end up having a lot of sway behind the scenes in the next 4 years.
So you think we end up just going down there and taking over the canal?
I think Trump needs to do exactly what he did with NATO, right? Which is that he needs to talk shit and lie about how he's ready to bomb and like send in boats and shit, and like he's ready to fucking go to war, and then scare the living shit out of Panama, which is a country that has almost no money with the exception of Panama City.
Why are you saying that he's
medical
lying?
Research. because I don't think he will. I don't think that's his plan.
Well, I think that he would do. I think that's the reason why he keeps what he says vague, so that he's not tied down to a particular plan. He said as much before.
Yeah,
so
no,
like
that's what I'm saying. Like, I think he's doing the same thing he did with North Korea, right? Like with Kim Jong-un. Like, I think I think what he does is he scares politicians that view him as a wild card, and he plays to that, and he bluffs about what he's going to do so that he can get people to sit down at the table and iron out a deal that like other politicians are too scared to even attempt because they don't want to offend anyone.
You do realize that he sent a terrorist a picture of his own house and told him that he needed. Yeah. I don't know, man. It's like.
Well, yeah, I'm describing things descriptively here, right? Like I'm not giving a moral value on like what I think, the government ought do. I'm just saying, like, if you ask me what I think is happening, right? Like if I'm just describing it, I think that Trump is bluffing, and that he bluffs a lot, and that he does so because it works, and because people get scared, and then they stop acting like out on us.
I don't know, man. I think that when the man says that he'll do a thing, that he's going to do it. Which is why, like, 3 days in the wake up, I'm looking forward to no tax on overtime, right?
I mean, like, yeah, I'm happy for no tax on overtime. I mean, like, anytime you have a tax on something, you disincentivize that behavior, right? So, if you tax cigarettes, right, there's some group of people that will stop smoking, right? Like if you increase the taxes on cigarettes, some people quit smoking, and then some people continue smoking. Any tax is a disincentive on behavior. So a tax on, if you have a progressive tax where you tax wealthy people more, then what you're going to get is less innovation, less growth in the economy, less wealthy people, less productivity, et cetera. And if you tax overtime, what I think you're going to get is more overtime. And like I think that's going to be good in some regards, because I think there are a lot of struggling Americans that end up getting 2 or 3 jobs because they can't get overtime because their business doesn't want to pay the tax on their end, and so they end up working multiple jobs and stressing out, and that they're going to be.
What do you mean pay the tax on their end?
Because income tax is paid on both ends. So like you pay income tax, but then your employer also pays income tax. Right?
Yeah, that'll go away too.
That's what I mean, right? So there are a lot of employers that won't give out overtime because they have to pay more taxes as well as pay you more money, right? And so if you get rid of the taxes.
But they will now, right?
Well, no, I'm saying so let's say you make $20 an hour, right? And your state law or whatever is time and a half, right? And so you go to your employer and you say, I want overtime. Well, they're like, well, I'm not paying you $30 an hour. But it's not like I'm not paying you $30 an hour. It's you have to pay taxes on that $30 an hour that are based off as if however many hours you worked that week were 52 weeks throughout the year. And then your employer also has to pay those. So on top of the $30 an hour, their payroll taxes are going to include the increased taxes on overtime. So not only are they paying you $30 an hour, they're paying your taxes. And because you're making more money and potentially in a higher tax bracket, they're paying a higher percentage of taxes. So if we give it no tax on overtime, a lot more employers are going to be incentivize, or I should say less disincentivize, to give out overtime to their employers. And I think that's a good thing. And anytime we get rid of a tax, that's a good thing. But that might have some other downstream effects, right? Where employers are more willing to give overtime and less willing to take the risk of hiring new employees. So you might see less jobs available and more jobs pushing workers to work more hours. And that could have some negative impact. But like, I'm all for getting rid of a tax no matter kind of where it is. But I am also recognizing that, in the grand scheme of an economy, that when you do targeted taxes or you get rid of taxes targetively, sometimes there are unintended consequences economically, and like we have to recognize that and recognize that there might be some downstream negative effects of that. But overall, yeah, I'm pretty happy about getting rid of a tax.
So what is your evidence that Vance is a yes man?
I didn't say he was a yes man. I said I think he's going to be a kingmaker.
Right.
I said I think he's going to be behind the scenes like Henry Kissinger. I guess maybe what they're asking is that like, why don't I think he'll be like the next president or something? I don't get this.
Yeah,
is
I'm just trying to
purely a
make sure we're
vibes
including.
argument.
Yeah, I'm just kind of
like
trying
purely
to
a
make sure we're
vibes thing.
including
Like,
chat with the. Yeah. That's it.
yeah. Like he seems to me like like there's this like to me he doesn't seem to have that star power in the way that like other people do. I mean, like, I think he's great. I think he says a lot of great things. I think he has a lot of charisma. I think he's really, really good at dealing with the media. And I think Trump even recognized this when he won the VP debate. Like after that, he was like, yeah, Vance is going to go do the hardball interviews. Like, fuck me showing up because Vance does a better job than me. And he was smart to do that. Just the same way he was smart to have Tulsi Gabbard go after interviews about that situation with Cheney.
Bro,
right?
can
And
you
just like he was
tell
smart
me?
to put Vivek on college campuses. To me, he seems more like a kingmaker, more like an intelligent guy that's a strategy based thing than somebody that wants to be the president that has to do all this like pomp, balls and appearances. He seems like he would be more effective at being like the guy behind the figure that like is, giving them the strategy.
Mm.
I'm not saying I know any of this. I was just asked to predict, so that's my prediction, right? I'm not saying like I have the secret sauce, boys. Like I'm just saying like this is my opinion. Like this is what I get. Like it's as
Barbecue at
predicting
Fabian's.
the future is anybody's fucking guess,
Yeah. Well, I just think that with everything going on around the world, the Arctic sea lanes are opening up more. It's smart for us to get, more involved with Canada and Greenland, considering how much coastline of the Arctic that Russia owns. And if we're going to continue, right, on a course where there's going to be global trade, right, then one, there has to be a rebalancing because, and it has everything to do with the actions that China's taking whenever we allowed them to come into the global market the way that they did, and their actions since, So the whole idea that there can be a continuation of business as usual is just, any form of that is just false. There has to be an entire reckoning in order to essentially bring China to the point to where they're like, hey, we're not actually going to invade Taiwan. We've actually got some sense now. We actually want to work on the world stage. This, that, and the other. Until that happens, until those motherfuckers, and I'm not saying they got to bend the knee because it ain't anything like that. It's essentially saying like, hey, we want to be a part of the family. We're not trying to fucking make our own over here. You know what I mean?
I feel
because the
like,
family's fucking Earth.
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't know about Greenland. I don't have enough knowledge, and maybe this is more your area of expertise, and in having a broader range of knowledge of like, what is the value of Greenland as like a launching point in terms of like response times in trade issues and
any launch of an ICBM is going to go over the poles. Period. Doesn't matter where it's coming from.
I meant more like ships, right? But yeah, that as well.
Oh, gotcha.
But I just mean like having access, because like if we take Greenland, let's say we do, right? Little thought experiment. We would be absolutely retarded to not build a military base there where we do some cold weather training. Well, we do, but it's only like a couple of vessels, right? And it's like, and we have like treaties on like what we can and can't have.
I'm not saying we can't expand. I'm not saying we can't do that.
I could imagine like if it's ours, we can drastically grow it and have an economy there. But like Greenland only has like a couple thousand people there in like any other major ports. I don't know what the value is. I don't know how valuable it is I guess what I'm trying to say, right? Like I'm not very knowledgeable on the strategic value of Greenland.
There's a lot of minerals and shit like that to go up there and get oil. I mean, it's
Man,
all up there.
There's oil and minerals everywhere in the world. Okay. Like,
Yeah,
there's
but they're
this,
also like these are untouched. Nobody's been fucking with them, and no, this place hasn't really been settled at all. The people there in Nuke, they've got a long history of not liking the Danes, and apparently the Danes look down on them. Don't ever give them any representation in their government. So the people of Greenland want to change, and they're looking at like, hey, we've got these minerals, we need to do something with them. And we don't have a fucking military, but we can clearly see, like on the other side of the Arctic, there's some unhappy people over there, right? That would potentially be pointing their weapons this way. So
we don't really trust the Danes to keep us safe. I get it.
Right.
Like, the thing is like, the entire concept of the UN is, it's based on a false premise of, an incredibly false premise of, national determination by the people, right? Like there's this lie that is told that like if the people want to be a nation, that like that is what we're here to protect ultimately, right? Like, and we're here to protect like the borders as they stand from changing based upon like any form of invasion or conflict. And it's like, well, first of all, nations are not private property, right? Like it's not the same thing. And so like this concept that like we drew the borders and like now all of a sudden, invasion by one country or another is like this great evil thing that we're going to like, Westphalian keep it. But like if self-determination is something that we presumably value, then like nobody should have any issue with Greenland voting to fucking become a part of the US if they want to. And maybe we do get Greenland. I don't know. But like threatening like military,
I just don't understand all the
off the
apprehension.
table is like just fucking wild to me.
Yeah, I just don't ever understand the apprehension with bringing in, places as a state like the Philippines, Puerto Rico. What's the fucking big deal? I don't get it.
So with Puerto Rico, there's a couple problems here, right?
Well, we don't need to go into the nuances because we both are aware of them, right? But like, what's the
but it's like the Jones Act is a big problem, right?
I keep seeing patches of land where if we're playing Risk, and we fucking are, right? What's the problem with giving these fucking countries, which they are, right? Couple of senators and some representatives in the House. I don't understand the problem.
Well,
Republicans
Republicans obviously don't want that because that's basically just giving 2 Democratic senators and like, a couple of Democratic congressmen permanently to our government, right? So a lot of Republicans don't want that shit. Because like it's just guaranteeing an uphill battle in the federal government to not have Democrats in control, right? If we gave the Philippines and we gave especially the fucking Puerto Rico, Philippines can go either way, right? Philippines.
You know why Puerto Rico continues? You know why it gets bluer is because all the Republicans go, why the fuck would I stay here when I can just jump on a plane, go to Florida, and become a fucking Florida resident?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. I'm not.
Why the fuck would I do this? I'm not an idiot. That's why I'm a Republican. I'm just gonna go fucking jump on the plane.
For sure. But I'm just saying, like, you asked why. You didn't ask me if, right? And so the why is like, why is there apprehension? I'll tell you why. Is because Republicans don't want a new blue state added to the fucking government when it's already a national territory, when we already get, pardon me, when we already kind of get everything that we want. So it's not any economic interest to American citizens to bring them into the fold as far as they're concerned.
That's not how our government structure is fucking written, and we need to like that whole court decision where they fucking incorporated the language of an unincorporated territory wasn't a part of the Constitution, and it's bullshit.
Yeah, but you're not asking me ought we make the mistake. You're asking me why is there apprehension? So I'm answering your question. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I agree. Make a mistake. Like I don't. You know what I mean? Like if
okay.
I'm fine with that. It's just you're asking me why are people don't why is it not happened? And that's why, right? It's a bunch of corrupt socialist government over there, and a bunch of Republicans would rather keep them at bay as opposed to bring them into the fold. Because they like where they're at, because they don't give a fuck about the Puerto Rican people. They give a fuck about maintaining their own power.
Okay, so then what we need to do first is start consolidating the land in the Northeast.
We talking about Canada? What do you mean?
No, I mean like Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts. You know, like like all that. We just fucking pull them all together. They lose. They had 10 senators. Nope. Now you're down to 2. Now you got your House of Representatives. Now we can bring in Puerto Rico. Look, you still got fucking Dems.
As a libertarian, as a libertarian, I must object to you fucking over our free state project in New Hampshire. All right, it is the most libertarian and right wing state of those combinations of any in the fucking union, brother.
You're all voting together in the same block anyway. All we got is these arbitrary lines. Apparently, you don't actually have your own individual identities if you're all voting the same. So fuck it.
What are you talking about? Not New Hampshire. New Hampshire.
And apparently, we're trying to keep but apparently we got to keep a balance on the flag too, right? They don't like 50. They only want 50 stars.
I guess. I don't know, man. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to take over Canada. I don't want to fucking deal with Canada. I don't want fucking 80 some million fucking commie fucks that like being a part of our country. I don't like Canada. I don't want them here. Right? I get it, you know. Canadians seem nice or whatever. They're fucking the happy form of socialism, right? Like they have a bunch of fucking problems from Trudeau. I want Pierre Poilievre to fucking fix it. I want a stronger Canada, but I don't want 1 or 4 more states being added from fucking Canada. If I'm to take this meme seriously, I don't fucking want anything. The only cool people in Canada live in Saskatchewan. Everybody else can go fuck themselves. Like, no, I don't care that you're nice and you smile at me. You vote for socialism. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, if you're voting for socialism.
Look at Canada. They're just like Europe in the way that they fucking vote. They have a right-wing party that like is more closely aligned to the Democrats than here. I mean, obviously they have a parliamentary system, so they have like other minor parties, right? But if we were to bring them into the fold into our country and just make them states, every single one of those new states we make in Canada would vote Democrat.
So why are we just not installing leaders then? Why don't we just install a fucking governor in Canada?
Because this shit doesn't work, man.
What do you mean this shit doesn't work? It's fucking
every
Canada.
time we install a leader in another country, it bites us in the ass and costs us way more money than it gains us.
It'll be fine this time.
Where have we successfully installed a leader? Cuba? Nah, that didn't work. Iran? Nah, that didn't work. Like, where have we successfully put in a puppet where we spent millions and billions of dollars fucking like no, we realized this didn't work and then Reagan where?
America.
Oh my fucking God, that's not what I'm talking about. You fucking weirdo. You think Obama was successful?
You damn right.
No, dog, like fucking fuck Canada. I don't want a bunch of socialists fucking voting over here. I don't want a bunch of socialists where the entire country is basically unified around the idea that like anybody can be a woman and that like, you know, transphobia is the greatest evil to fucking mankind. Like they can all fucking burn from the Chinese buying up all their property for all I fucking care. And you know what I mean? Like fuck them. Like, yeah, sure. Do I want them to become libertarians and realize the error of their ways? Yes. Do I want to bring them into the fold to further fuck up the country I'm living in? No. Why would I want that? In what world would I want that? Why? Because they have oil? Bitch, we have plenty of oil here. Repeal the Jones Act. Let motherfuckers transport oil via boats instead of having to fucking build a pipeline every time we need to do something. And then just fucking
Dude, what's wrong with building pipelines?
Well, there's nothing wrong with building pipelines. It's just that part of the reason that we build pipelines is because of like the illegality or I guess not the illegality, but the increased taxes that we have on like boats supplying natural gas and oil domestically, right? So like we have like all these tax issues where like you can only stop at like one port, and if you like stop at multiple ports, you get like these increased taxes and things. It's just like, and that's part of the reason why Puerto Rico fucking sucks, because like foreign people drop off goods in like Texas or in Louisiana or something, and then they have to get onto a second boat to go to Puerto Rico because like it's like legally they can't even do it because Puerto Rico is a territory. But like just let us drill our own fucking oil and sell our own oil to where we want to other people and get the fuck away. I don't like, I'm just sick of the hundreds of billions of dollars potentially that we spend every year trying to fucking support democratic institutions in other countries in the hopes that we can influence them into liberal democracies to be our client states so that we can like, you know, enforce this Western hegemonic power. Like fuck all of that shit, dude. Like if you're gonna take my fucking money, at least build something in America. Like I don't want you taking my money to begin with. I'd rather it be in the market instead of stealing fucking money from me so that we can have a coup in Ukraine in 2014. That's really gonna fucking help me, because it doesn't look like it's helping me and it doesn't look like it's helping Ukraine. But if you're gonna steal my fucking money, at least build a bridge or some shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like fuck, like just the concept of like this like global power and bringing more nations into the American fold. Like fuck that, fuck it, fuck tariffs, fuck all that shit. Just fucking get rid of these goddamn taxes and stop playing with other countries. Like the only thing I want America doing outside of the borders of America is protecting American trading vessels in case somebody tries to attack, right? Like I got no problem bombing some Houthi rebels if they want to fire on our fucking ships like retards. But like other than that, like just fuck off. Just stop sending money and bullshit and like all this foreign aid, foreign policy, all of it. Like just let it die. I don't care. I don't want it. Like we're dying as a nation economically. Like our new generation of young men are like terrified that they're never going to be able to own a home, right? Like our new generation of young men are making less money than their fathers made. Okay, like we have enough fucking problems over here. Stop stealing money from us to, you know, defend other nations, set up other things, try and gain some like power on a chessboard or a risk board somewhere. Fuck all of that and just let us keep our money so that we can have a down payment on a fucking house and so the economy can grow. You got me fired up.
Yeah, well, the only way that changes is with the rhetoric change of China and Russia. These two powers, like whether you like it or not.
I don't give a fuck about Russia. I don't.
Hold on. Listen. I know you fired up.
You got me fired up. I'm sorry.
I know. But like, fact of the matter is that their rhetoric is driving the change. And they're going to make some bullshit excuse about this, that, and the other. And there's a lot of legitimate, right, gripes with regard to the CIA. I think that's definitely a rogue agency. I think we need to X that motherfucker. NSA, same shit. We don't need to be having any dark spy networks and shit like that. We have legitimate concerns with cybersecurity. We need to be operating these things within the daylight of our government, right? While also maintaining our national security and information. You know what I mean? So with that said, it's
like look,
we have a real opportunity. We have a real opportunity here to start taking the steps of daylighting the cockroaches in our fucking house. And there's a lot of cockroaches in our fucking house. Because like throwing your hands up and saying fuck it, that's not going to solve anything. So
I'm not saying throw our hands up and say fuck it, right? What I'm saying is we're spending a very large amount of money for no return on investment, and the money we're spending is stolen money from the American public.
Agree with that.
And so what I'm saying is like, look, if you want to go to China and say, look, motherfucker, you're going to get a tariff until you stop selling fraudulent goods and you stop using slave labor from Uyghurs and you put up some basic level of human rights in like Foxconn factories, like obviously not the one in Taiwan, but like the others that where like they have like suicide nets and razor wire fences to like keep their employees in their fucking slave labor camps. Like you want to do that and tell them like, hey, you're going to have to play by the rules of like, you know, some level of human rights, and you're going to have to stop selling us baby clothes on Temu that aren't fucking fireproof and have lead poisoning in your cheap products and shit, and lying and saying that those things aren't real. Yeah, I'm for that, right? That's a protection from fraud, which so long as the American government exists is a duty of the American government, is to protect its citizens from fraud just as much as it's to protect its citizens from being bombed, right? And if Greenland, you know, chooses to be a U.S. territory, have at it. But I don't want another fucking state, and I don't want hundreds of billions of dollars that the Department of Defense can't keep track of going to like censor social media across other countries and, you know, fund, you know, Arab Springs and fund fucking like, you know, things that are in our interest because of the democratic institutions, etc. Like that's a complete waste of money that they already stolen from me and stolen out of our economy, right? Like that's kind of what I'm saying. Like, yeah, do we want to have a couple treaties with other nations so that we can have nukes in their country, so that if Russia wants to pop off a fucking nuke, we can be like, hey, motherfucker, guess what? We're a click of a button away from Moscow, and it ain't fucking in it, and we'll be there before anything reaches us, motherfucker. Like, sure. You know what I mean? Like, I you know, it's not like my first choice as a libertarian, but like I understand the national security interest of like having some level of power in the world, so long as we still exist as a nation state in the current paradigm that we're in. Like I have other things to focus on in terms of reducing the size and scope of the state. But yeah, right? Like I'm not saying only protect the boats, right? Like I understand that we need some open level of, you know, I would open it up to the markets. I don't think we need the NSA protecting cybersecurity infrastructure. I just don't think we do. I don't think that's necessary, right? I think you know, I think what we need is to not have electric grids where, you know, the state of Virginia or the state of Georgia gives one company the exclusive right to power in a nation, and then we have to have these secret agencies protecting the infrastructure. Like, just let the fucking market supply people with electricity.
Hey, so what do you think about
have this problem?
So what do you think about? I think this is kind of like the last closing idea, if you're good with that. I think that one thing that we need to start really pushing is a constitutional amendment for the federal government to control nuclear technology. And the next thing that we need to start doing is having the federal government start building reactors across the nation to supply power to the people, and then start giving power to the grid, and then people just simply hook into the grid, and it becomes an expense of having the necessary people that have been trained, which would probably end up being your nuclear reactor technicians that were on carriers, that were on submarines, etc. They're going right into a fucking career doing the same shit, controlling fucking fusion reactions and supplying the people power.
Yeah, I'm completely against that.
Why?
Because it's well, first of all, I'm leery of any constitutional amendment because a constitutional convention can go very badly. Because once a constitutional convention starts, technically they can kind of put whatever they want in there, and then I don't trust any of our fucking politicians to write this well. Number two, I don't like monopolies. That are granted by the state. And number three, it's totally unnecessary. All we need to do is get rid of the insane level of regulations that exist on nuclear energy. I mean, for example, Mark Zuckerberg and Meta, you know, they tried to build a small nuclear facility to power their AI systems, right? Because there's all this argument that AI uses way too much energy, and that's why it's bad for the environment, and the energy is expensive. And so he's like, I'm going to build a small nuclear reactor so that we have a nuclear facility that completely powers everything.
Microsoft is getting ready to bring one of our old reactors back online. You know that, right?
Yeah, but
to
but what I'm
power
saying
their
is-
servers specifically for AI.
Right. Well, Facebook attempted to do this, or Meta, right? And then the government stepped in because of an endangered fucking frog, not even an endangered, like a at risk of endangered frog, and shut down their entire ability to do it.
They're bringing one of our old reactors that was allowed to become decommissioned. They're going to be bringing it back online. So there's none of those red tapes about any of the fucking birds, this, that, and the other. They're fucking opening it, and Microsoft is going to be setting up their data centers for AI and receiving power
Right, so
directly from a reactor.
You're arguing in favor of what I'm saying, which is that the market can provide nuclear energy.
What I'm saying is that specifically, I don't trust the free market in. I really don't. I do not trust the free market when it comes to the safety standards with regard to nuclear technology. I don't.
Why would you trust the American government more? Like
because I've actually slept on board an Ohio-class submarine next to a fucking reactor and the warheads, and I'm still here. That's enough of a reason for me to trust that. And I'm also very aware of the process. So there's no reason for me not to trust the government in this regard. They've been operating fucking reactors for how long? I don't trust the free market. They are more incentivized to cut fucking corners and end up putting people at risk. And they fucking do all the time. We see the fucking trains when they fucking derail and how they fucking don't go actually clean up the shit.
Majority owned by Congress?
Every fucking time. Free fucking markets will cut fucking corners for money and profit, which is what they're incentivized to fucking do. The things when it comes to yes, they are.
They're not incentivized to cut corners. In fact, so I'll give you an example, right? So in
profit
Prospera,
is the incentive.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean cutting corners is profitable.
Yes, it absolutely does when they don't spend the money and they don't clean up the shit, and it's still fucking there.
That's the government that you're talking about. They have government protections via the EPA. Like that's not the free market.
So it never happens. Never happens with the free market. Never happens. It's never happened in history.
That's not what I'm saying.
Okay, well that's exactly what you're arguing against right now because I'm being broad.
What I'm arguing against. No, what I'm saying
I'm being broad.
You're saying your claim is that the free market is more incentivized towards risk
than the government to cut corners. Yes.
Right. My claim is that that's not true. So I'll give you an example, right? So in Prospera in Honduras, which is basically the only anarcho-capitalist community in the world, right? Where they do medical research and they do people coming into tourism, right? Resorts. So they do resorts and they do medical research because they don't have to worry about the laws and regulations from other countries. And every insurance company that exists in Prospera, so there's no state government. What they have is a system of rights enforcement agencies through private voluntary means. So it's purely without a state government other than the fact that they have to pay some small tax to Honduras. And they have already agreed, every single one of those insurance companies agreed that they will not create level 4 labs, biolabs, because it's too risky, because the damage that can occur would cost too much money if they had to pay restitution if something happened from a level 4 lab. Now, our own government loves fucking level 4 labs. We got a couple in California. Black and Vetch built a couple for the Biden corrupt family in fucking Ukraine. They love fucking level 4 labs. Our own NIH funded the Wuhan Institute of Virology that created an epidemic, right? So when I see the free market go, it's not worth the risk because it would be too expensive if something really bad happened. And then I see our own American government funding throughout the entire world places where potential outbreaks could cause epidemics, and they don't care about that risk. I look at that and go, which one seems more incentivized versus the other? In my opinion, nuclear technology in the market would be far more likely to have safer facilities than the government because they're more incentivized to not cut corners and risks because they actually have to pay for it when something happens, as opposed to having some random, bureaucrat fall on his sword, get some slap on the wrist, and most of those people keep their jobs anyways. No, I don't trust the government more than the market to engage in this.
Well, we're just definitely going to be disagreeing on this fundamentally, and it's going to have specifically to do with personal experience.
Right. So, but personal experience is anecdotal evidence. Like, where is your evidence to suggest? What's the mechanism that makes the state
the history of the submarine force?
that's evidence that the state has engaged in nuclear technology with limited accidents. That's not evidence that the market is more incentivized towards accidents than the state.
I didn't say they were more incentivized towards accidents. What I said is that they're more incentivized to cut corners with regard to safety, and I've seen it myself when I was working at Nucor Steel in Memphis, Tennessee. I've seen it first fucking hand. The guys are right there in the ground, right? You're supposed to go through the lockout, tag out procedure before you go into the fucking exit end of the caster where you've got, 1,200 degree fucking metal coming out before it goes into the rolling mill. And these assholes, the first fucking time we do it, yep, we did everything right. Lockout, tag out, ... go into the exclusion area, boom. The fix didn't fucking work. Instead of taking the time to redo it, even though it's a pain in the ass, and make sure everybody was safe, they're like, nah, bro, you just go hang out there, we'll just fucking don't move, Wrong fucking answer for a submariner. The process fucking matters.
Right, but that's
because
not an argument.
all it would take.
That's not an argument.
That is the fucking argument. That's the
just
argument.
You saying I've seen the government do this well in my life, and therefore I trust the government to do this well, right? And so I guess that's an argument, right? But I think it's a very dubious claim because I think it's
less of an argument for whether it's more of a. This is the process that is already documented and experienced right there first fucking hand. The free market doesn't have the documentation for every single fucking thing that they're doing, and they definitely don't make sure that the people that are on the ground do that. They're more incentivized to keep people working to produce a product than they are training them, where the government definitely makes sure that they're doing the training so that the people do the fucking job right, in my experience. So, when you have people that are operating the reactors on carriers, subs, why not put them right into that? The federal government is doing it. You have people that are vested in that, and they continue to hold people accountable.
So so what is it about nuclear technology, right?
Boom.
So let's say, hold on, listen.
That's boom. It. That's it.
So, pause. You're just saying that's it. While I'm speaking, that's not really
atomic bomb.
So, okay, again, what is it about the American government that in so many other instances you recognize there is not an incentive towards efficiency, and that the market provides better solutions, and that it's more incentivized? But for this specific sector, you're saying I've worked in this sector and I've seen it done well, therefore the market would not do this. I'm trying to understand because there seems
if
to be
the market is willing to sacrifice safety standards with something as rudimentary as, producing special bar quality steel,
mm-hmm.
I can only imagine what those same individuals would be willing to do with nuclear material at their disposal.
So the way the market is based, right, is that the higher risk something is, right, the more financially they're incentivized towards increased safety, right? So it's not
the whole idea of this is to provide power to the network so that people plugging into it, our citizens, don't
mm-hmm.
pay. The power's there. It's being
that would
produced.
be impossible. That'd be
Why
impossible.
is that impossible? Why is that impossible?
Because how would you pay to build and maintain the facilities unless it was the government? And if the government has to maintain and build the facilities, which means they have to get taxes. So that means the American public are paying. They're just not paying an electric bill. They just be
mm-hmm.
paying through taxation.
No, tariffs.
Okay, well, the American public pays for tariffs.
Not necessarily.
Well, who do you think is paying for tariffs?
Possibly the manufacturers.
Which
in
America,
whoever it is.
Right?
No, not necessarily. If it's a tariff, right? That would the implication there is a foreign entity doing the selling.
Foreign entities don't pay tariffs. We do. So, like, if we tariff China, China doesn't pay the tariff. Now,
check
China
this out. You're acting. check
in
this
the
out.
sense.
But what
no,
you're hold on. I understand how the physical form like this is the structure of how it works. How's the money flow? It doesn't flow the same way that way in a lot of cases, because if you're a manufacturer in a foreign land and you're trying to get your product over there and that place is like, hey man, I want your product, but they're putting 100% tariff on it coming across the board. You're either going to have to pick it up or it's not going to come into the market. You think that manufacturer is going to go, no, I'm not going to pay that tariff? They go, yeah. They might have to take a hit on their profit because they're already exploiting slave fucking labor. But yeah, they'll pay the fucking tariff, and then it's not Americans that are paying it.
So Americans are paying. So there's
the
some
price
issues
has
here,
to
right?
raise, and if the price doesn't raise to the Americans, but the tariff is still paid, then guess what?
Okay,
the product was able to come into the
hold on.
country
Let me-
and then
let
got
me
sold
explain-
at a.
No, hold on. Let me explain how this works, right? So let's say we put a blanket tariff on all Chinese products at like 20%, right? Whatever. So what does that mean? Well, that means that if China wants to sell something to Americans, right, the Americans are going to have to pay a 20% tax in order to get that product. And you are so first and foremost, Americans pay the tariff.
There's a domestic firm to get set up at the port before the product is allowed to enter the country, right? And it's at that location where the tariff is paid. And then the product is allowed to enter the country and then get sold to the market. So from my perspective, the product is at a net, whatever that price is, at the time of the arrival of the port. The tariff can get paid by the manufacturer because they sent it over ahead of time by flow of money for it to go through this account to whatever.
Well, no.
But
China
it's like-
doesn't pay the. Hold on, listen. China doesn't pay the tariff. It's the person. If we put a 20% tariff on China, China doesn't pay the tariff. Okay, it is whoever is purchasing from China that pays the tariff first and foremost. Now, you are correct that the downstream effect of this means that it can incentivize domestic manufacturing because whomever is buying that product from China, right? There's essentially a 20% increase to the price of that because of the 20% tariff. And if someone else can make that same product for the same price, right? Or let's say a little bit more expensive. It's only 10% more expensive than the Chinese product, but they don't have to pay 20% more because, there's a 20% tariff on the Chinese product, right? Then it can bring that manufacturing, bring that investment. But nevertheless,
we got the before and after prices though. You got the before and after.
The price increases on that product. Like the tariff ultimately increases price, and so every American consumer now has to pay a higher price.
Wrong. I think you could say that the cost of the good goes up, but the price can change if the person that owns the product chooses to sell it at the higher price. If they don't, because the manufacturer was able to cover it by way of exploiting their fucking labor and send it over so that it could be paid by the person so that it didn't affect the, it's like money flows around.
Hold on. If there's a widget and it's $1, okay? No, listen, if there's a widget that costs $1, okay? Right now, and people would like to purchase, are already purchasing said widget, and there's no American company that's selling that widget cheaper in America because it's too expensive to manufacture here than it is in China. That means that if we put a tariff on it, the price of the American widget is not going to stay the same. It's not going to stay $1. And the reason it's not going to stay $1 is because if there was already a company that was incentivized to sell it for $1, they'd already be doing that. So the price must come somewhere between the new price that is coming from the tariff and the original price, which means price must increase in order for that company to be incentivized to produce that widget anyways. So
you're assuming a whole lot less manipulation in the pricing to begin with from the manufacturer, and I'm assuming all manipulation. Okay, I'm assuming that from cradle to I assume it's all manipulated, right? Because one, when you don't have the same standards when it comes to work,
we
don't have the same.
You're using You're using a magic word. Like manipulation can be cooked into this or not cooked into this.
It's all cooked into it because they're exploiting slave labor from the start. So that's my whole fucking point. If you think for 1 second that the price can go from like $1, right, to 102, or it could go to 98 cents, right, as an example, because they're like, hey, we're going to slap this whatever percent tariff. So they, oh shit, we're going to have this tariff, we're going to adjust over here, we're going to lose some profit on that, but we're still going to be able to keep shit running. Boom, send it. It's going to be close around in the American market for people, but it's not going to be like fucking crazy. All this fear mongering that's going on with all of this shit.
It's not fear mongering. It's basic economics, and you're ignoring the economic argument to say that like things will magically not happen based off of what we know happens. Okay, if a company could sell the thing for 98 cents and there was a market to sell the thing for 98 cents, then they would. The fact of the matter is that if something is being bought at China and then you put a tariff on the product, it is that tariff that increases the price. And when that price goes up, that then incentivizes investment in American manufacturing. The only reason it works as an investment, the only reason that it brings manufacturing back to America, etc., is because the increased price or the increased price is a place in which that investment can be popular. Nobody is stopping anyone from producing said widget in America as it stands. It is the increased price that the tariff does that causes investors to realize that they can make profit in the market that was not as profitable before. The net effect of that, like, yes, an individual thing might drop, right? An individual item, but the overall net effect is going to be an increase in prices. So the American public will pay more, and then the Chinese will have less products to sell us, which means that they will take a hit to manufacturing. Over and over and over again, we see that tariffs are a net negative for every country involved. Now, if you want to use tariffs as a threat, as a tool, and say, look, our country can take the hit and we might even get some manufacturing, and your country is going to take a bigger hit. So we're going to do these tariffs until you stop slave labor, until you stop sending us fraudulent shit, until you fix your shit up. Then what you're doing is you're saying, I'm going to punish the American public with higher prices, but you're going to be hurt more than we're going to be hurt. And then in the long term, we can get rid of these tariffs, and then we can stop the fraud. We can stop the currency manipulation. We can stop the abuse of like renting factories from 100 years from the CCP. We can, stop the slave labor, etc. And the net outcome you could call as good. You can make that argument, which is a pro-tariff argument. I disagree with it, but that is a rational argument based off of the economics on the ground. But to make the argument that prices aren't going to go up because of this magic manipulation thing is just injecting mysticism into economics, and it's just not true. I am indeed done. In case you're curious.
Sure? You sure?
I'm done. Yeah, I'm done.
Yeah, you're assuming too much in that, I think.
I mean, is there any?
I'm assuming greed. I'm assuming. For me, I'm assuming the same behaviors that I think I would continue to see from people, which is greed. They're going to figure out some way to get it done, which is exactly why we continue to see American ships and fucking Russian weapons. Right?
Yeah, I'm assuming that too.
They're going to figure out some way to get it done, and they're going to do it.
Moral that a man can have.
And they're going to continue to do it in such a way to where the American people, it's not as obvious. They're not going to it's not going to go like fucking stupid. Especially not during this administration. They're going to be, the prices that people see is not going to go fucking stupid. So
I don't think Trump is going to issue blanket tariffs, right? Like we've already discussed this. Like I think Trump is going to use tariffs as a tactic. And like I don't necessarily think that's a bad idea if the goal is to threaten and or punish countries that are engaged in some form of fraud or manipulation of their currency or already have tariffs. For example, I'd be fine with putting a tariff on exports to Germany in terms of cars because they've had fucking tariffs on our cars.
Yeah, but okay, so
since
then
World
I guess
War II. And then we can
then I
say,
guess
okay, cool, we'll get rid of our tariffs if you get rid of yours, and then we can.
you
fix
do
that.
agree though that the timeline of events that I laid out is completely plausible, and in a lot of cases, I think, depending on the product, more than likely, because they're going to want to continue keeping the manufacturing processes that they have in place.
No, I think that the Keynesians, the Chicago
I think
School,
they're going to have to
Austrians,
shift gears. They're probably going to end up sending their markets to Russia or wherever. Like, they're going to have to probably change their. It's not going to be like a prolonged thing where they get to just keep doing. They're going to have to shift gears in a way. But in the short term, you're going to see new introduction of products here being made in the United States. But the same products from China.
That's why you're going to see new American manufacturing, is because there's an incentive from investors to invest in manufacturing, but because the price has gone up. You're going to see inflation.
It's not going to be overnight. It's not going to be overnight that these things just happen. The point here is
that instantly increase the price, and then price will fall to some degree
it's
over
not
time.
going to instantly increase the price. It's just
That's
not.
literally what a tariff is that it's an instant increase in price via taxation.
It can be an instant increase in cost. It's not an instant increase in price.
Yeah,
if you can't get on board with like that simple thing, then like, well, what do I like?
Yes,
I'm not understanding words the same way.
Yeah, you're correct, right? Like most corporations throughout the world, and especially in free market economies, they make a profit of roughly 6 to 12%, right? Like if they're doing amazingly, they're doing like 12, maybe even 13, 14%, right? So yes, if you put a 20% tariff on products, they're like, it's not going to be a 1-to-1 20% increase in price, right? It might be an 18% increase in price or a 17% increase in price, right? But the goal,
or a 1 or 2% in either direction, depending. You just don't fucking know.
The best way to make profit
because
is to
the fact
the
is
rate
like
of profit, right? So
because
the best way
the
to make
whole
profit
point,
when you're making products is to sell more products, right? And so if you put a tariff on and then you bring in manufacturing, right, and you increase the supply of domestic manufacturing, right?
Slow down.
Then you're going to change the rate of profit, which is also going to increase the price even more. Like you have multiple effects here that are going to increase price.
Big picture, since we're talking about China specifically, they've been funneling all their money into building these cities that have no fucking occupants. So obviously there's a profit that they're pulling in from their companies because China is a communist country. So that right there is where I know that the prices are not going to go astronomical for us, the Americans in the market, because the Chinese are going to specifically want to continue selling their products. So there may be some change, but it's not going to be anywhere near 10. The most, maybe 5.
Say the same,
but that's going to be on like
every government. Yes, every government that we know of right now steals money from its citizenry for public works and construction, etc. And China, spends a lot of money on tofu construction and bullshit so that they don't appear to be the paper tiger that they are. I agree that the CCP could respond to tariffs by some reduction in taxation, and that this might have some downstream effect of like these companies, in changing their structure. I mean, China also subsidizes a lot of industries so that they can compete with America. Like Tencent, making video games is a big one. They get a lot of subsidies from the CCP, right? Like I agree with you that just because you have a 20% tariff doesn't mean that you get a perfect 20% increase in price, right? Economics is really complicated and there's a lot of factors at play. What I'm describing is market mechanism and pressures, right? I'm describing from praxeological position, when you do certain actions, you have to understand that this has upward or downward pressure on prices, on costs, etc. I agree with you that a 20% tariff doesn't automatically mean a 20% increase in price. What I'm saying is that if the tariff is effective, at bringing in domestic manufacturing. The reason it's effective at bringing in domestic manufacturing is that price has increased, thus changing the supply and demand equation, and thus making it more profitable for investors to invest in that production. And the reason that it would increase domestic manufacturing is because that there's more, that the price has increased. It's not going to be exactly 20%, you're correct, but it is going to mean a price increase on the American public, and it is going to mean inflation of products. And if it doesn't, then that means that the tariff didn't bring any manufacturing jobs back here.
Yeah, I think it's one of those stages thing where you're going to have an X amount of percentage where it's going to be easily covered, that it becomes evident to manufacturers that there's a market, and then they start building reoccupying industrial facilities necessary to produce their product.
You think there's an information failure of investment firms to know that Americans buy products? That's your claim, that there are people out there that just don't know that these goods can be made, and then investors are unaware, but once the tariffs come in, they're going to be like, we had no idea that these products were being bought by Americans. Like, they know, they're just not investing because it's not profitable, because the price is too low.
You done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. So, whenever they do the stages of these things, there's going to be an initial that's going to be able to be covered. That's what I think, right? It's going to be able to be covered. You're not going to see the fucking crazy changes, but it is going to send the signal out to like, hey, they're not making as much money as they were. The changes are there. And then when the next, and I'm pretty sure that like Trump's probably going to be pretty like, well, he's going to be loud like he is. And the second round's probably going to be like, this is the next thing because of, and it's going to be like a foreign policy thing. China's not going to stop pushing the way that they have. So as they continue to do that, it's going to lead to the increases that, and then, again, manufacturing is incentivized to move back. They already have. That's why facilities are being built for us to be able to produce microchips and all of that technology. So
I mean, that takes years to come to fruition, right? Like chip manufacturing facilities like that requires a long-term investment. If tariffs become really unpopular, right? And people don't like them, I don't think you're going to see a lot of internal domestic investment in manufacturing, because it's one of the strengths of communist or just authoritarian regimes, right? Is that there's a longevity kind of problem here, right? Because manufacturing requires a large initial investment with a return on investment coming years later, right? I mean, and that's true of most businesses, right? Like most businesses, hell, even restaurants where you can get up and running very quickly aren't profitable until like their second year. So, I mean, like, we'll see, you know what I mean? Like there are a lot of unknown variables when we talk about this. Ultimately, like I said at the beginning, I don't think Trump's going to do blanket tariffs. I think that he's talking up tariffs as this great thing because people don't know much about economics and don't know how disastrous tariffs are. But I think ultimately he's going to use them as a threat. And we've already seen this, and he's not even president yet, right? Like he used them in his last presidency with steel tariffs, which of course is part of the problem for our housing situation. Part of the reason Gen Z can't buy houses and our economy has so much asset inflation with housing. It's not a big part of it, but some part of that is the steel tariffs that Trump did, right? He has fucked over the American public and, young men from being able to be homeowners in part by those steel tariffs. But, I think we're seeing it again with what he did with the threats with Mexico and Canada. I think that he's going to use them strategically. And I also don't disagree with your assessment that Donald Trump's second presidency is going to be far more effective at whatever goals he has than the first, right? His first presidency, he didn't have the experience. He kept around a lot of slimy fucks around him that he had no idea they were even slimy fucks, right? Like John Bolton being a prime example, right? And this time he's coming in with Vivek, he's coming in with Tulsi, he's coming in with, Vance, he's coming in with a team of people that seem more dedicated towards, some based shit. He's coming in with a lot of swamp people too, but I think he will be more effective at whatever he is, and I do think he will use tariffs to some degree of effectiveness. I'm just arguing that like this concept that blanket tariffs aren't destructive towards the U.S. economy is something that basically every economist, regardless of what school of economics they believe in, is saying it's true. It's not like I'm a Keynesian and I'm like saying something that the Austrians or the Chicago or the MMTers disagree with. Like every school that like agrees, and like every piece of evidence that we have shows that tariffs hurt everyone involved in the short term and in the long term, unless they're used in that way.
Mm-hmm. Well, nobody believes that he's doing that. I don't think people thought
Believes that he's
that
doing what?
just whole blanket tariff.
Well, I mean,
like
he's talked about how they're good on Joe Rogan, and so did JD Vance, right? And he's talked about we're going to use tariffs as this magical tool to like he has talked about tariffs as like a blanket good. He's talked about how historically tariffs were so good for like the turn of the century America. Like he has argued that multiple times and stated that multiple times. And
doesn't make it not true.
It does make it not. No, that doesn't make it not true. What makes it not true is that it's not true. Like the tariffs suck. Like
no. No. See, fact of the matter is that there was a time in world history where everybody would have told you that the world was flat. Okay. And now we know better.
Like what?
Like
in like the 200s? Like
No. See, this is the thing, right? Our entire government used to run on tariffs, and it changed, and they gave us the fucking IRS. Okay? I'm really done with this shit. As a matter of fact, I really think that the baby boomer generation is probably the most clueless and selfish generation.
I don't disagree with that.
So that's why I'm just 3 days in to wake up. No tax on overtime.
I mean, no tax on overtime, I do think will probably be a net good. Yeah. I'll agree with you on that. Like there's some things I like about Trump. I hope Doge is really fucking good at cutting government programs, or at least telling Trump what government programs and places to cut, Yeah, I hope he institutes something like Milei did, and something like he did in his first term, right? Milei has instituted for every government employee that gets hired, 3 need to be fired, right? And Trump had an institution, that he wouldn't sign a bill that increased regulations unless it got rid of other regulations. I hope that we continue to see that and see some, degrowth and defunding of a lot of these 3 and 4 letter agencies that are just slowing down our fucking economy. I am hopeful that some good shit happens. That's not going to make me like tariffs,
Tariffs are great, but the
taxes are bad.
What was the other thing? You just mentioned it, and I wanted to. Oh my goodness. About something from earlier. Fuck me.
I'm good.
Reactors.
Mm-hmm.
So, what was it?
We were talking about nuclear reactors, and you said from your experience working in manufacturing of steel as well.
No. You just said something before that made me think of something with that, and it was a different.
The Facebook thing, maybe? In Microsoft, we were talking about that, maybe?
Oh, I just have to think of it.
I'm trying.
I know. Yeah, I can't remember. It'll come back to me. It'll come back to me. Oh fuck, that's what it was, and I'll fucking mess it.
It'll come back in the shower, and then all of a sudden I'll check Discord, and it'll be like, "Hey, motherfucker."
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be like that.
Look,
But
man,
there's just a
twitchpol misses
there's
you. Twitchpol
think so?
misses you, man. I maybe they don't. Maybe it's because Twitch has got a lot of young people in it, so maybe it's a whole new crowd of people. But
They probably think I'm a boomer.
Well, dude, I get called a boomer constantly, and they're like, "Shut up, you fucking old boomer," and I'm like, "I'm a millennial. Like, what are you talking about? Like, and I'm not even like the older millennials. Like, I'm like in the middle. Like, I was born in 1990, and they're like, "Yeah, boomer." And I'm just like, okay, you just have to accept that boomer is a term for Gen Z, right? That is very similar to like fat, right? Which is like when you call someone fat, there's no magical amount of obesity that where like you can say someone is fat or not fat, right? When you call someone fat, what you're saying is, I recognize you're overweight, and also I think you're ugly. And I think part of the reason you're ugly is because you're overweight. Right? You know what I mean? But if I was a black guy, I might look at the same girl and be like, what are you talking about? She's thick. Like, that's not fat. Right? It's the same thing with boomer. Like, they don't actually mean the generation of boomers. They just mean you're old and you don't get it and you're not with the new things.
Okay, I remembered it now.
Go ahead.
Okay, so the reason why it needs to go to a constitutional amendment with regard to nuclear technology has everything to do with its capability of being turned into a bomb. So, with that said, it's I don't want in the future states thinking that, hey, I'm going to make my own nuclear bomb. No. So, since I feel like that it's like I don't feel like there needs to be a distinction made with regard to the tech, because the same materials are used. They still have the same concerns, safety with regard to radiation. Therefore, at a minimum, the government needs to be in control of like all of the inspections, the adherence to safety protocol, etc., and be a part of the daily operation, right, in that regard. They may not necessarily need to, if we're not trying to deliver power to the people with a technology that could do it at the most minimal cost that we could actually have, right, which would be the most beneficial to our people, right?
Right, that would be the free market, yeah. The minimal costs. Highest safety, yeah. Look, man, I don't want to get back into this, so I'll just leave it.
I don't either. But anyway, so that's
right?
just the So
I'll just say this: the world would be a safer place if private industry could own nuclear weapons, and it would be a better, safer, cheaper, more prosperous world if we reduce regulations.
we already had like a couple of bad '80s movies about corporations and nuclear weapons. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. We already had a couple of bad '80s movies. That's not a great argument. But even still, you don't need a constitutional amendment to keep fucking Elon Musk from owning nuclear warheads, right? Like, that's already the rule. You just all I'm saying is just reduce the insane regulations that make it too expensive, especially like the environmental things where like we can shut down the building of a nuclear plant because some fucking frog is like, close to being on an endangered list. Like, fuck nature. Nature tries to kill you. Like, it was our consciousness and our moral right to fucking shape and destroy and kill nature that is trying to kill us if it makes our lives better. If it fucking improves our communities and gives us electricity, I don't give a fuck about what frog dies. All right? That's my final take on the nuclear regulation side. I'll kill all the fucking weird endangered list frogs for more nuclear power. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm kind of with that on that. But anyway, everything else good with you, bro?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. What panels and stuff are you doing, man? Like,
I haven't done any yet.
Some panels. Well,
I haven't done any. No, I can't. I started back at the start of the new year, and it's really just been about. This is the first night I've actually, talked to somebody else. Because I've just been looking up my news, talking to chat.
Yeah,
Which is,
fair
you know,
enough.
looking up the news and keeping up, you know, with current events and stuff is what I've been doing anyway. So it's really just been about sticking to that. So
Fair enough, brother. Well, I hope to see you. I hope to see you more in the space. I'm happy to have
yeah,
you back. Even if I
well,
disagree with you on shit, right? Like I just want to see real fucking conservatives back. Right? Like we're stuck with a lot of fucking grifters and silliness and nonsense, man.
well, if we can get some type of, you know, actual organization, kind of like what we had going before with Dylan, you know, actually some type of organization. It was good whenever people were working together, right? Before, like you said at the beginning, right? You get all these what about me's instead of being happy to be a part of it. You
I
know?
just glance over your chat and I think they're talking about fucking like the Lawfer curve. I was not expecting that. Or the Laffer curve, however you want to say it.
Mm. Best time ever. Well, there you go. Everybody likes it. Well,
There you
anyway,
go.
man.
Well,
Damn, this is definitely a little bit longer than we expected to go, but we did have a kind of a rocky start, didn't we?
we had some tech. You had a rocky start. The fuck you talking about? We fucking you had some issues there, brother.
Well, anyway, it's been good talking to you, bro. Shoot me
All
a
right, brother,
DM
peace.
sometime. And
Yeah, I
I'm
will.
trying to. I think I'm probably going to end up having to get verified on X or whatever, because I'm just, you know, I'm fucking posting on there, but like, you know, shit's not getting seen,
Dude,
and I'm at.
the X game has fucking changed, brother. Like it is somehow Elon Musk has made X, or Twitter, more toxic than it used to be, and like more based on negative engagement and outrage than it used to be. And I was just like, I didn't think you could make Twitter worse, but somehow he managed to do that. And he was like, well, we brought back some right wingers that were banned. And you're like, cool. What else have you done? Well, your Twitter feed's going to be mostly legit Nazis. And you're like, fucking what? Like, when did this happen, brother? And it's like, my Twitter feed is just like crazy leftist, crazy tranny. And then it's like, fucking Hitler was right though, right? And you're like, what the fuck happened, bro? Like, I almost miss getting censored by the left, because like, at least then I didn't have to be like, okay, here's why the Nazis weren't based. It's like it's the Wild West again. It reminds me of the old internet in some ways, which is good, and some ways it's fucking just dumb, brother. Like, I don't know what to tell you, man. You got to be toxic.
Yeah, but isn't that like the whole spirit of fucking free speech, and like allowing people to expose themselves and whatever it is, right?
For sure, but like, I think X needs to bring back a dislike button. And then once the dislike button is
there we go. I'm with that.
Then what they need to do is they need to boost content. Because like, as it stands right now, when you like it, it gets boosted. When you comment, it gets boosted. When you repost it, it gets boosted. And when you stay in the comments for a while, it gets like a multiplier effect where it gets boosted even more, right? And so the problem with that is that people post shit that's like a mid-wit take that they know that their own people will defend, and that they know that like the other side will come in and argue in the comments. And so it's like heavily based upon a lot of engagement. And so people post, like, it's like Destiny you were talking about in the beginning of stream, right? Like, post some shit intended to outrage the other side, and then you'll get a bunch of arguments in the comments, and then that will boost the ever-loving fuck out of you. And it's like, we need a dislike button where you can argue in the comments, but it barely boosts the post, so that like what mostly gets pushed forward is like shit where people are talking a lot in the comments, but also gets a lot of likes as opposed to dislikes. Because as it stands right now, people just post retarded shit and being like, Hitler was based, right? And then like fucking people come in, they're like, what the fuck do you mean he was based? And then they start arguing, and then they're like, ah, yes, money and engagement. It's like, it's really bad. But it's also like the only way to DM people with big names, right? Like, nobody checks their fucking email anymore. You know what I mean? Like if you want to fucking like be able to get interviews and shit, like you have to have a following on X, and it sucks.
Yeah. I've been kind of keeping up with it the last couple of weeks, and it's interesting to say the least. But that's what it's kind of leading me because I'm not seeing engagement where I'm just like. I'm saying a couple of things where I just, it's just kind of like a blanket that you just know people scrolling through, especially whenever you get it right when a post gets, and you just know people go, oh yeah, that's great, that's great, that's great, and you're a part, you'd be a part of that, and it's just getting like nothing.
Well, the main thing about paying for X, right, is that if you pay for X, your money goes towards the posts that you comment on. Right? And so because of this, your post goes to the top of the replies. And so if you don't pay for X and you like reply on a viral post, you're going to get zero engagement because people have to click like see more like 7 times before they see your post. But if you pay for X, you'll be in like that top category of replies, and then people will fucking start commenting on your shit and go into your page. It's pay to win. It's a pay to win site now. It's like a fucking it's like a Chinese mobile game of social media. It's fucking horrible. Okay. It's terrible. But that's the name of the game, brother.
Well, anyway, if there's ever like I said, I'm going to be probably doing some mods on the Xbox. I've got my shit set up over here. I'm thinking about doing mods on the Game Boy. I don't know if you fucking, but I'm like planning on doing like a fucking the advanced the one that flips.
Mm-hmm.
And then fucking modding it out where I got all the old emulators and all that shit on there, right? So and
yeah,
fucking
hell yeah, dude.
Because now I got my fucking man bag I carry around with me all the time.
Be careful with the Nintendo. I just imagine fucking they'll come out of the woodwork somewhere to be like, copyright. This is illegal. Nintendo's fucking crazy with fucking going after people.
Yeah, that's the.
I mean, I just look into it. I don't know what you can and can't do.
Well, there's other content creators on YouTube that's putting videos out on how to do it. There's websites like Boxy Pixel, Retro Gaming, and stuff like that where you can buy, IPS fucking replacement screens for these systems. So like now the whole idea is like even if you have a broken one, like you'd be fucking amazed if you went on eBay or any of these fucking sites just trying to fucking get a Game Boy, because now the game is save every fucking one because you can take the board out of it and then now put it into something else and you got a fucking Game Boy. So
yeah,
and that's kind of like where the internet has really kind of fucked everything up because now you can't actually like go to a flea market and get it, maybe find a good deal on something because anybody who's selling anything more is now going to the internet at a minimum to check prices and then they price it for that.
I mean, yeah. I don't know if that's good or bad. You know what I mean? Like it's bad for you if you're trying to buy one. It's good for them if you're trying to sell one. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know. Check to see if there's like any local shop that sells like retro games and stuff near you.
Yeah, I think I might have to like
sometimes
take a trip like up into like the back country fucking North Carolina up in the mountains somewhere. Maybe there's a retro gaming store that hadn't really got online yet. You know what I mean?
Well, I was saying if you go into like a city, you'll probably find like 1 or 2 places that like sell old consoles and old games and shit. And
oh, dude, I'm down here in Central Florida and I'm checking around, dude, and it's all fucking woo. It's high, bro.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. In Florida, I just imagine that Florida man who's cooking meth on one place is probably also buying Game Boys and soldering next to his meth lab, hoping it doesn't explode. Like I could see Florida man being a little better at the decommissioned fucking Game Boys. I just imagine some guy in overalls and no underwear being like fucking like pouring out his NyQuil into a beaker somewhere and cooking it while he's on the other side being like soldering a fucking Game Boy. So I don't know. Maybe the prices are a little higher there, man. Maybe you got to come up to a more civilized place.
We definitely got better internet connectivity, that's for sure.
Hell yeah, brother. Well, you have a good one, man.
Hope to see you too, man. Good night. Yeah, man, we'll see you.
Good night. Well, that was longer than I expected. And a very quiet night as far as chat is concerned. As far as like, just everything else. I guess everybody's busy this Thursday. I was on Twitch too, And like I saw that like everybody's numbers were pretty fucking like crazy low. Like Rob Noor's live right now with like 15 viewers. So, you know, very, very, very slow night. It happens. I didn't really watch this one. Yeah. I didn't know what to expect from CTV, man. It's been a long time. I hope he comes back into the panel game because he's fun on panels. I mean, he's a bit of a patsy sometimes because he gets drunk and plays a character, but he's still fucking fun. But, yeah, guys, I will probably be back Monday. I'll probably be in the Discord Sunday. We'll see what happens, you know, what I got going on. But, you know, join the Discord. We'll probably hang out Sunday, maybe watch a movie or game or do something like that. It just kind of all depends, but I'll almost certainly be back Monday for Prime with the new format and you know, getting it in next week. It should be fun. You know, but again, join the Discord. That's where you get the go lives. Consider, you know, joining the channel for $3.99. So I always answer super chats. It was a slow night tonight, but it happens. You know, if you want to see me be toxic, see me on X, and I can't wait to see you guys some more. Monday feels like will be an eternity in my position. What a week. Oh, I don't know. Well, tell me about it in Discord, I guess, brother. I gotta get some dinner and relax and, you know, get prepped for the kids coming over this weekend and taking them to my dad's. Should be interesting. But yeah, I'll see you guys around. Peace.